Righty. So let's go ahead and get ourselves situated here. let's make sure that we don't completely mess all this up. All right. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company ever. Here we go. So as I'm continuing my campaign through our backlog, if you will, of reports. Funny enough, the one that we're about to do today, I actually did in real time when it came out, and files got corrupted, whatever, it got vaulted, and then so much stuff is kind of, I've got so much to add to it that I just vaulted it after we got it all figured out. So anyway, but that should be fun. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to speak a little bit about this is how you don't play. This is how you don't play, and DSP's fallouts and how he's dealt with them over the years. Apparently, this was a question that was asked about him, or asked to him, I should say, on his Bottom Bitch podcast. So I thought it'd be something funny to go over. With that being said, without any further ado, I hope to go into what is my favorite segment. Hopefully, some of you guys' favorite segments. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk. Now, a couple of times each and every year, like clockwork, DSP is asked about this is how you don't play. It's one of the crown jewels that that's in DSP's own crown, if you will, whatever that's worth, that he really thinks has hurt him. That has ruined his life. It's ruined his reputation. It's ruined how people perceive him and his credibility as a gamer and content creator, and even as a streamer. The reality is he's right. The reality is he's right. The problem is it's his own fault. It's literally his own fault. And him trying to, you could say it was a Streisand effect, but by him trying to squash it, and by him trying to use machinima to squash it, he literally blew it up and made it worse. You know what I'm saying? And then he's spent, I want to tell you, since 2018, maybe even 2019, he's been sandbagging playthroughs to try to hinder it, even if it's at his own deficit. So let's put this in a context for a bit. He's literally screwed over his own YouTube channel by stretching out these playthroughs to thwart or to hinder or to deter people from making This Is How You Don't Play. Now, that's not the only reason. There's other reasons too. He'll stretch out a playthrough if it brings in money to him, which is stupid because the playthroughs get dragged out too goddamn long. People lose interest. He ends up wage quitting. And This Is How You Don't Play is going to eat regardless, as well as the rest of us. So, you know what I'm saying? You see DSP's business acumen in full display there. Try to get these people not to do This Is How You Don't Play on me anymore because he's never able to let it go. So it still hurts him as much as it did, over a decade ago. But then, oh, well, if I have this thing that's working, I got to milk it for everything that it's worth. And then he gets mad that people stop supporting it after a while when he ain't stretched out a 20-hour game into damn near 60 hours and then wondered why no one cares after 60 hours. Just retardation at its finest. In any case, let's go. And as it pertains to DSP's shortcomings, I mean, he'll always have shortcomings. That's just who he is as a person. And if you're so mentally ill, if you're so mentally disabled that you believe that no one can teach you anything, even though you need everybody to handhold you through everything, and you didn't do anything wrong, you did everything correct, and it's the world and the people in it that are the problem. That's the reason why he needs everybody to be Thanos snapped out of existence. Well, I mean, it is what it is, right? It'd be better if he was like most sociopaths and just said everything is just a what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Everything is just a setback, instead of, everybody else just screwed me over. Life would probably be a lot easier for him if he thought about it that way. And there may be even a level of appeal to him if he had that mindset. But he don't, and maybe thank goodness for that. In any case, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And let's go ahead and get our situation going. Let's see here. I guess we can say we're playing social chess here, so let's play that. That's fun. And let's see here. Where is our actual situation of choice? Hopefully this is it. Hopefully this is it. Because I got a lot of things up here that are This Is How You Don't Play oriented. So he's been speaking about it a lot this year. This year being 2026. Just the context, I'm in the beginning of August. I'll probably end up spending this entire month going through the backlog. So that'll be cool. All right, so let's see here. All right, so I believe this is it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and give you guys a formal introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Raw Phil. Big ups to Raw Phil. And big ups to Dix for cutting this up. Darksydephil speaks on this is how you don't play and how he deals with it and the fallouts and shortcomings, and fallouts and shortcomings. This is from June 1st of 2025, our year of the snake. The snake. And yeah, I think everything's set up. Let's go ahead and get that there. And here we go.
So someone took $2. All right. Here's what they had to say. Let's get this on the leaderboard. Here's what they had to say. It's funny watching 10-plus-year-old videos of you and your reaction to the original This Is How You Don't Play. All that overreaction from you over just saying that Phil is bad at Metal Gear Solid 2. I feel like if that happened today, it'd be so different. Because, like, when's the last time you ever mentioned it, This Is How You Don't Play? I feel that...
Well, we don't really know, because DSP has been hyping up that new Metal Gear Solid that's supposed to be coming out. And he's hyping it up like he's going to play it. But yet, we don't really know if he's going to play it. DSP hasn't had the best history with Metal Gear Solid, the series, as well as Hideo Kojima and all the nonsense that entails. I don't know if DSP is going to play that game. Now, this is way too early to tell or whatever. Like I say, he's been hyping it up and so on and so forth. But I don't know if he really is going to play it. I don't know if he really wants to, because his last outing of it didn't go well. So I don't know. And I honestly think he's suffering like PTSD. In his own special way, if you will, because you know DSP is a special boy. Special boy. Suffer, Philip, suffer. I think I don't know if he's gonna play it. I think he's scared of it. I honestly think he's scared of it. And even if he does play it, I don't think he'll play it when it comes out. I think he'll wait until the game drops and he watches other people's videos on it, their tips and tricks, if you will, their playthroughs, and then he'll probably do it. I think that's honestly what he's doing. I think he's doing that with most of his games. That's the reason why he refuses to play most new releases, because he's hoping that he can watch somebody else's tips and tricks videos, if you will, and he'll be able to go off that. And then yet again, if he's doing really well at it, there's a lot of money coming in or support or whatever contributions. He'll slow down the pace of the game because he knows what's coming next and he knows how to deal with it. So he'll slow down the pace of the game to bleed them for everything it's worth. Then when the contributions slow up, you'll see him try to speed up a bit. Some of his playthroughs, that same playthrough, he'll try to speed it up, just so he can try to catch up. So this way he doesn't lose their interest. And he's failing at it miserably. He's been doing this for years. So it's funny and ironic, honestly, that he'll cry and complain about people who make how-to videos in Street Fighter 6 to beat pay-to-win characters. But yet he does that same thing with playthroughs. And none of his dents catch on to it. And most detractors don't care, because either way, it's just going to be what it is. But it's funny how much of a massive hypocrite he is in almost every aspect of his life and in everything he does. But semantics. Let's go.
There was a certain irony where you kept mentioning This Is How You Don't Play back in the day, and that caused people to actually learn about it and watch it. Yeah, so here's my perspective. 10 years later, you know what they say, again, hindsight's 20/20, and you look at the situation. So there's two reasons why I reacted that way back then.
And let me be clear let me preface this on my end. It doesn't matter what he says here, which probably puts me at a hindrance because, well, why rush the rest of the video then if that's the case? But seriously, it doesn't really matter because he still bitches about This Is How You Don't Play to this very day. Nothing has changed. It's like, I promise you, he has PTSD over it, and he's afraid of it. He's literally scared of it. And then to make it even worse, but it complements This Is How You Don't Play. It really do. It really, really do. So I don't know if it's been a while since I've had a chance to jump in and see like an outsider. This Is How You Don't Play. I like watching the old stuff. I haven't seen a lot of the new stuff as of late. But I'm wondering if this is how anybody, outsider, whoever your favorite detractor's detractor, your favorite detractor's favorite detractor, who does This Is How You Don't Play, I should say. I'm wondering if they're going to start incorporating the journalistic meme into This Is How You Don't Play. Because why not? It complements it so damn well. It really do. You know what I'm saying? You could literally make one of those yourself out of your own This Is How You Don't Play. Put that as a YouTube short and use that as promotion for the This Is How You Don't Play that you're about to have come out. It feeds into each other. And I don't know if people have really thought about it from that standpoint yet. If they haven't, they will, trust me. But the point is that DSP is definitely not thinking about it. So he just thinks it's an individual meme, it sucks, and he's starting to get really mad at that. But boy, the person who actually combines that and This Is How You Don't Play together, eventually they're going to hit pay dirt with that, like real pay dirt.
Okay, one is a very bad, very stupid, very ignorant reason, and one is a very valid one. The first reason is I thought my shit didn't stink. I thought I was this big popular gaming YouTuber.
Which you weren't. You never were. He pumped out more gameplay than anybody else, and he did it quicker. In a story, that doesn't make you popular. That doesn't make you relevant. You swamping the search engine. You know what I'm saying? If you flooding people's fucking subscriber feeds, right, to where they don't even want to subscribe to you anymore because there's too much bullshit coming in. That didn't make you popular. It didn't make you relevant. It didn't make you any of those things. And then the opportunities that he did gain from doing that, he didn't even take advantage of it. He wanted to stay to the grift. Which is basically what it was. It was a grift. He wanted to stay to the grift, grinding out fucking 60 parts, you know what I'm saying, a day and whatever. And then he wonders why no one gives a shit. He literally boxed himself out. You know what I'm saying? He overexposed himself and made himself irrelevant. He did that far before any detractor. And that's why I like to say that DSP is his greatest detractor. By far. By far. And he won't realize it until like his last seconds of existence. That's when he'll have an epiphany and realize, holy shit, I fucked myself over. And then after that, it's really game over. And that's the real sweet irony of it all. So, anyway, something about.
I thought that I worked harder than everybody else, and therefore I deserved respect. And how did
you thought you deserved respect because you were spamming out 60 10-minute videos a day? Think about that.
Dare someone make fun of me? Now I'm not saying, oh, don't
literally the original YouTube slop content. I'll even go further than that. The original YouTube gamer slop content creator. That's what DSP is. That's what he represents. Amazing! I just thought about that. But that's fucking crazy if you think about it from that perspective. That's insane. Holy shit.
Don't watch my videos and laugh at them, because a lot of the times in my videos, I purposefully overacted. I mean, in that MGS2 playthrough, I was...
Oh, this dumb shit. I'm gonna have a field day with this one. This is the whole persona argument where no one understood that it was all just an act. Basically, all those are basically the OG detractors, the ones who came before us, and those who were adjacent to them. Some of them put out the argument that, oh, well, you know, is it an act? Is this an Andy Kaufman type bit? This, that, and the third. DSP, a decade later plus, has now kind of grasped upon that and been like, oh, well, it was just a big act. It was just a big gimmick. And you guys weren't smart enough to figure out the joke. So you were okay with them establishing that it was just a persona, it was just a joke, it was a meme, it was meta acting, or whatever. But then you're going to try to turn it around on them and say, oh, well, you guys were idiots because you couldn't pick up on it. Pick a lane. Pick a lane. And DSP does that a lot as of late. Last few years. He's been trying to take detractor sayings and trying to go along with it, but then tries to flip it because his ego and say that, oh, well, it's your fault because you guys didn't understand it. You guys didn't have a full depth of what I was doing. You guys took it too seriously, not me. It's wild. And it don't work. It really don't. Because he's running off of a narrative that's not his. Which goes back to his, what was that? Debunking 6 years or 7 years of slander. You remember that? For those of you who remember, this is during the Pro Jared saga. DSP thought he was on some redemption shit. So he had a list of videos that he wanted to, not videos. He had a list of claims that he wanted to debunk. Come to find out, which it wasn't hard to figure out if you were on Detractor Twitter at that time. It wasn't even his list. His list belonged to Dragon Killer and whatnot, who was a well-known and very prominent, very respected DSP detractor on Twitter and whatnot. That was That was the one who came up with that list, not DSP. But he tried to read it off like it was his own, and then you know that it wasn't his list because there was stuff on it that he admitted to skipping before he admitted that, yes, I grabbed this whole thing off Twitter. So make of that what you will. Even as pathetic as he is, and as much as he bitches and complains about his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, he's dependent on them. He needs them. Insane. Insane. And that's not necessarily symbiotic, but it has aspects, or it has the attributes of a symbiotic type relationship, but it's really parasitic. Now he's trying to use his detractors and trying to siphon off of them now. For good or bad, make of that what you will.
He's constantly insulting Hideo Kojima for a reaction. I didn't actually dislike the guy. I just wanted people to have a reaction because that's what got me popularity and views back in the day.
So you fucked around and found out, then it got out of control, then you couldn't make it stop, and now we're at where we're at now. Good job, Phil. Yeah, that's a story you should go with. Yeah. I purposely did all this. I purposely gave rise to Kojima World Order. I purposely gave rise to Sons of Kojima. And then I bitched and complained for a number of years on how it wouldn't go away, how I couldn't make it stop, how I was taking down channels and videos and this, that, and the third. That seems weird. That seems a bit counterintuitive. I thought you wanted a reaction. Now you're getting it. And now, what's the problem? You're getting exactly what you wanted. Right? Right? That was the whole plan, right, Phil? You wanted a reaction. Now you're getting it. Well, you've been getting it. Certainly more than what Cat's been getting. And Panda, for that matter. But you're getting it. And now you don't want it no more? Oh, now it's out of control? Oh, it's not the reaction that you wanted? Beggars can't be choosers.
Okay, it was that shock value kind of stuff. Oh my God, he just won't stop insulting Hideo Kojima. We got to watch more, right? So it's a difference between you were watching that footage on my channel or you were actually watching someone who had the audacity.
Shut up. All right. Let's go ahead and look away from the Gouty fucking T-post for just a second. First off, and this is something he won't admit, but it's true. There were people, like bigger content creators, who had been watching those This Is How You Don't plays too, right? A lot of them. Like Total Biscuit was for one of them, Jim Sterling or Stephanie Sterling, whatever he's going by now. But back in the day, they were going at it. There was a bunch of mainstream content creators, if you will, especially in gaming and gaming news and stuff like that, who picked up on it and were watching it too. This is How You Don't plays. Now, I want you to think about something for a minute. If you're putting out 60 videos a day at 10 minutes of video, how much slop do you think you have to go through to get those actual moments? That is what essentially the compilation of it, This Is How You Don't Play, quite a bit. And he knows that. And he knows that. So he wanted people to go through his slop content to get a 30-second fucking hit. He wanted you to go through basically 9 minutes and 30 seconds of trash to get a 30-second gem. He should thank God for This Is How You Don't Play under those circumstances. He should have considered, well, you know what? Maybe I should cut out the dead weight, the silent parts, and all the other bullshit, so there are more of those viral moments that people could go for. If he's artificially doing all this shit anyway, which is weird because I thought he was real gameplay, no bullshit, semantics. Anyway, if he knows that's what's really going to put butts in the seats, these over exaggerated reactions or whatever, then why didn't he produce more of it and cut out more of the slop? But he got mad that someone else came up with that very idea and he thought he was going to shut it down while not understanding the formula or the blueprint and couldn't emulate it himself. So if he couldn't have it, no one else could. You catching my drift? That's the reason why he doesn't want This Is How You Don't Play to exist, because he couldn't emulate it himself. And then when he tried to do so later on with the KO Community Creation Program, whatever the fuck, that shit failed miserably. That failed miserably. And the reason why is because the people who made it, did it solely to appease his ego, not to make something entertaining. And the reason why is because DSP doesn't want you to do anything entertaining. He wants to make something that's part of your day that you're just used to dealing with. You're dealing with it. You're not enjoying it. You're not appreciating it. You're just dealing with it. Because he believes if he becomes part of your life in set way, over time, you'll be forced to appreciate it. And then you'll be forced to contribute to it. You don't believe me? Look at some of the Gouty sermons that he gives on the fucking Bottom Bitch podcast. You know what I'm saying? The Gouty fucking church session or whatever. Or when he does his Gouty tides, I should say that. The collection plate. Same concept.
Wanted people to have a reaction because that's what got me popularity and views back in the day. It was that shock value kind of stuff. Oh my God, he just won't stop insulting Hideo Kojima. We got to watch more, right? So it's a difference between you were watching that footage on my channel or you were actually watching someone who had the...
That's a good screenshot. I might make a good thumbnail, actually. I might make a good thumbnail. Good shit.
The audacity to make fun of Darksydephil. Now, keep in mind, over 10 years ago was a lot of different times. You know, this was around 2012, 2013.
I don't know what he means by having the audacity to make fun of Darksydephil. There was a bunch of people who sent fucking strays his way. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them hit. And he didn't answer all of them back. You know what I'm saying? Like most cowards, he only went after people who he thought he could get over on. He didn't go after all the people who had something to say about him, especially some of the more prominent people. He may have went ahead and bitched and complained to them behind the scenes, but he didn't say shit about most of those people publicly. There's a lot of people that sent shots his way. He didn't do nothing about it. Took straight cannon fucking fire to the chest and just dealt with it. So womp womp.
Ish. So at that time, most people were laughing with me, not laughing at me.
Sounds like cope if you ask me, but all right.
I wasn't known as this clown.
If you have to say stuff like that, where, oh, people were laughing with me and not at me, you're coping. And you're delusional. But you're definitely coping. Straight cap. Straight cap. You're better off just saying laughter's laughter for good, bad, or otherwise. Don't say dumb shit like this. Don't do that.
On the internet that everyone liked to make fun of and deride, I was actually respected in the YouTube gaming community as one of the biggest YouTubers.
I don't see how that happened, being that when the transition from vloggers, some of them anyway, came into gaming, you immediately shitted on those people saying that they're not real gamers. Now that you can actually monetize gaming content, they're just trying to come over here and get a quick buck. And back then, you know, it was all view-based and whatnot. So the money was just, the money printed itself, basically. And he had sat there to attack those people. I'm pretty confident the majority of them didn't say anything, and they just swamped his ass out. So even though he's putting up his 60 videos a day, they're putting up between 3 and 4 a week, and they're completely and utterly swamping his ass out. Makes you think.
People came to me for advice. People who now today are much bigger than me used to ask me for help back in the day on how to break out on YouTube or how to
X to doubt. Now, what he's actually meaning is that there were some notable people who used to watch his content back in the day. Someone watching your videos and then someone sending you a direct message asking you for advice is two separate things. Let's be honest. Like, Wings could kind of say that because Wings had actually had people that he had collaborated with or asked to collaborate with him in the early Call of Duty days, and most of them blew up and became really big. DSP didn't have that. Yeah, he had PewDiePie who watched him early on. I'm pretty sure a bunch of other people watched them on their come up as well. That's not asking for advice. There's a difference. But whatever. When an answer is an answer, it doesn't matter if it's truthful or not. An answer is still an answer.
Really manage their channel. This happened all the time. Okay, so
and yet we won't name anybody. If it happened all the time, just go out and say it. But see, you can't because you're full of shit. Given that whole YouTube AdSense thing, you're full of shit because of the fucking Blip.tv shit. You're full of shit sucking Hutch's dick for a job to get back on Machinima after you ain't fucked it up the first time around. Huh? Who was asking you for advice, Phil? Who was asking you for advice? If you're talking about the dents that were already orbiting around you, they weren't dents yet. But if you're talking about some of the guys who were just orbiting around you, that's one thing. But who would name somebody out of all those guys who blew up to be far bigger than you? See, he can't. And he knows he can't. Womp womp. That's why when he talks about those charity streams, or that charity stream he wanted to do back in the day, and he had these big content creators that he was trying to reach out to, hoping that they would do it with him, there was no big content creators. He was just going to pick other guys who were beneath him and just have a bunch of them go ahead and and do some streams with that do a stream with him playing a variety of games or whatever. That's all it was. He was never going to pull a really big name. You know what I'm saying? He was never going to pull a Markiplier, a Jacksepticeye. Definitely wasn't going to get PewDiePie. He wasn't going to get anybody and whatnot. It's not true. It's a pipe dream. It's a fantasy.
Now, you might look at that perspective and be like, that's ridiculous. I don't believe you. But that's how it was back then. So for me, I was very big-headed. Okay, I was very big-headed.
And then I want you to think about it too. The very people that he said that came to him for advice to help themselves blow up, basically, or asked him for help so they could blow up. Let me say it that way. He ain't talk if let's say it's true. Let's go along with his delusion, right? If it was true, he ain't talk shit about the majority of those guys at one time or another. So why would they come back to help him? Right? Like make that make sense. That legitimately doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He's talked shit about the majority of those guys. You go back deep enough, he'd been taking shots at Maximilian for years, for no reason. No reason whatsoever. When Max was christened, when Maximilian was christened, the FGC guy on YouTube, DSP had a problem with that back then. And he may have had a bit more gumption to him or guile to actually say a little bit about it without saying too much, but he was mad about that shit back in the day. And the reason why is because when you went to a Max video, you know what I'm saying, you actually learned something. When you asked a question in the comment section, either himself or someone adjacent to him, if not him or if not other people just in the community, would give you an answer. DSP never did any of that shit. He just looked for people in his comment section to suck his dick and be done with it, which is weird because you could have just gone to Panda for that. But whatever. You know what I'm saying? Can't handle a real woman, I guess. So just deal with the weirdos in your fucking comment section. So, like, make of that what you will. Like, it doesn't even sound right. And then he's been saying that he's been a one-man situation upon himself for years. So how is it that you had time to help these other people out? On top of that, he also blames Machinima for not setting him up with any collaborations with other content creators on Machinima when he was over there for whatever reason or another. So make that make sense. You're telling us that Machinima is not setting you up with collaborations with other content creators. But then you're saying that some of these content creators were already coming to you for help. Make that make sense. If you supposedly had helped someone out, like, you know what I'm saying, wouldn't there be some type of camaraderie there? Or, you know, if you guys actually had some type of rapport, wouldn't that be a thing? Maybe? Kinda? Unless it never happened. Unless that just didn't happen, I should say.
It was very stupid. And I thought, how dare this person make fun of me? And I think that's now today I look at it and I'm like, what an ignorant, stupid way to take it. If someone went out of their way to make an hours-long montage video, obviously I'm doing something right because it got their attention. Even if it's a negative attention, it still got their attention. So what I should have done was laughed with it and then probably started doing my own crap.
Nope. What happened was he got greedy because he saw how quickly all those views were coming in, and he immediately was like, no, that's mine. That's mine. You know what I'm saying? That's mine, that's mine, that's mine. And whatnot, and that's bullshit and whatnot. And as DSP does, like most reactionary bitches do, he reacted in a poor way, which only made it worse. And that's the real genius of not just This Is How You Don't Play, but of Evil AJ himself, to be honest. He literally let DSP just strangle himself. You see all this bad behavior, you see all this poor behavior, you see all the incompetence and ignorance that was in This Is How You Don't Play, right? That I don't know if Evil AJ was thinking that deep, but let's say hypothetically that me and him were on the same wavelength. I think that was really just the lore. I think that was something to put out there to get DSP pissed off, to show his ass, to reinforce what was being displayed in the video. That's the real genius of This Is How You Don't Play. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the nonsense he was displaying in game, but it also shows you I use the term man loosely, but you also see how the man reacts to. You actually see what he's really like, which completely kills off the whole persona bullshit that he likes to spew now. No, he's a fucking dunce. You know what I'm saying? He's fucking mentally ill person and shit playing video games poorly when the instructions are on the screen. And now that that shit's put up in his motherfucking face, can't handle it. His ego won't allow it. So now, as blatantly ignorant as he was acting in this video, now look at how belligerent and ignorant and fucking just completely unhinged he's acting outside of it, in reaction to it, if you will. If you're gonna be mad at yourself. That's your content. Be mad at yourself. But see, he couldn't. He couldn't, because in his own head, he was already taking slack. He was already getting shit on for his bad gameplay. Now this is how you don't play, centralized it in one place. Your one-stop shop go-to. And DSP had to face it. And he couldn't. That's why he had the original taken down. Of course, that was the worst thing he could ever do too, because by getting the original taken down, when the re-upload went back up, it just shot through the goddamn roof. And then led the revolution, as if you will. Oh shit, boy! And they say the revolution will not be televised. Not all the time.
Referencing it in a positive way in my own content, right? Then it would have brought more attention positively to my content. But instead, I was so upset that someone would make fun of me. Now, there is another factor to it that actually was more rational. And here was the other factor. You have to understand that 13 years ago, my only source of income was ad revenue on my videos on YouTube.
He's literally contradicting himself. Like, I don't even need to play this whole thing out. We will, but we don't even need to play the whole thing out. He's contradicting himself. And this is really bad. This shows you like how poor his thinking is. He should have started off with the negative first, and then he should have went with the positive. So basically what he's about to say now, he should have led with this, and then he should have finished with what he just talked about. The reason why is now he's going to sit there and say, oh, well, I should have taken it on the chin. I could have done my own content on it. It could have given, you know, my content a much better light. This, that, and the third. It would have brought more people onto the joke. He didn't say that. I'm just throwing my own spin on it. Yada, yada. Now he's going to sit here and say, oh, well, this was my only source of income, guys. If this shit falls apart, what am I going to do for a living? How am I going to make ends meet? You know what I'm saying? How am I going to do all that? He's literally telling his story backwards. But that tells you how his mind works. And that explains why he lies the way he does. Because he can't see anything from a straight perspective. No pun intended. But he can't see anything from a straight perspective. You know what I'm saying? He wants to try to go ahead and start the story off by, oh, well, I understand the folly in my ways, and this could have been great for my own personal growth as well as for the channel. But then he follows that up with a negative to victimize himself. So he wants to show you, or he wants to tell you, he ain't showing you shit. He wants to tell you that, well, I've grown, and in hindsight, I know better, this, that, and the third. But then he wants to victimize himself to finish the story off. You know what I'm saying? He wants that to be the meat and potatoes of it, if you will. Thinking that, oh, you'll go ahead and rationalize being like, well, damn, yeah, Phil, you did a lot of things wrong, but now given your situation, that could have hurt you. That could have put you out on the streets. Yeah, Phil, no one wants to see you homeless, except for those evil detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. He really thinks he's smarter than everybody else. He really do. And that's why he hates his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. That's why he needs them out of pocket. He needs them out of pocket. It'll never happen, but he thinks, you know, he prays for it. I promise you he does. Because if you're a dent, you're not thinking about it that way. It's easy for someone to sit there and say, well, yeah, I made mistakes, this, that, and the third, and, you know, if I had thought about it. And then for them to follow up with the victim complex, the victim blaming, or not blaming, with the victim reinforcement, I should say. Following that, it just further sucks you into the story. There's nothing clever about it. It's not cunning whatsoever. But if you're dealing with basically people who are already 2 or 3 steps slow, anybody can make themselves feel like they're smarter than anybody else under those circumstances. That's why he sets the scenario up the way he does. Next time that you hear DSP go through a sob story, really listen to it. Like, really. Like, I mean, all laughter aside and all the fun stuff that's going on in the stream chat or whatever, but really listen to how the story is formatted. How it's formulated. You know what I'm saying? How he decides to present it to you. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because he's been doing it for years. And the way DSP does anything is usually the way he does everything.
Which was directly tied to the number of views that I actually got. Okay? I didn't have any crowdfunding at all. I think at one
his views were already sliding anyway. And then the crowdfunding part, he's lying because he's had a Patreon since day one. No, not Patreon. I'm sorry. He had PayPal, not Patreon. Patreon came later. That was like 2015, I think. He's always had a PayPal though. I mean, he funded a lot of the early games he played through PayPal. So let's not act like that wasn't a thing. Let's not act like he was throwing his own money up and then he was surviving on ad revenue. No. He was always accepting donations. Always.
point, I did have a PayPal open that I got like $100 a month on. Something, it was ridiculous. It wasn't any significant source of income at all. Okay.
It covered games though and allowed him to pump out more slop. And obviously he's probably skewing the numbers on how much he actually was getting over there. But you gotta let a fish swim.
It was all ad revenue from YouTube. It was like all my eggs were in one basket at that time. Okay. I wasn't live streaming, none of it.
As well as the weekly stipend he was grabbing from mommy and daddy every Sunday, while he was also going over there for dinner too. Imagine that. You're going over to your family's house for dinner with the facade that you give a fuck about them, and you're begging them for money too. And then after you leave Connecticut and go across country, you continue the same facade. Amazing. It's almost like he conditioned them.
So because of that,
but I'm not willing to give him that credit, so nope. Nope.
Looked at this person without my permission, taking my videos and editing them into their own form of content, and they were getting big views. And the way I saw it was, listen, they should be asking me for permission to use my content because that's my copywritten content. And what's sadly going to happen is if this kind of activity continues, this is going to take views away from me. This is good.
So you thought squashing it was going to do what? Wow. And you can definitely tell he has a stroke because look how his mouth is all fucking jagged like that. That's not how a normal person's mouth looks like. You gotta really take care of that, Phil. Maybe that's why you're scared to go to the doctor though. Maybe because you don't want them to tell you what you already know. Anyhow, yeah, no, that's not how that works. Like you want them to ask you for permission on something that you put out publicly. That's transformative by its very nature. By this is how you don't play. Its very nature is transformative. The fuck? And that's why he had to sit there and get rid of the comment section. He wanted to try to do whatever he could to hinder people from seeing him for what he really was. That's why DSP likes to lie to you now and say, oh, they had all these racist comments and all these nasty comments. That's fuck all that. What really was is people laughing at his incompetence. And he couldn't handle it. He legitimately just couldn't handle it. I don't know if you see so much of that now. In the comment section. I'm pretty sure you do, because why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about it, someone like Lummox, I'm not saying that's where Lummox got it from, but you know how Lummox likes to put shout out comments in his videos and whatnot, and how him and Break It Banquet also add sometimes the stream chat in their videos. It's like that, and it makes it even more painful if you're a fucking lol cow and you're thin skinned to see what people really think about you in real time. You can't control that narrative. That's why he had to kill the comment section when he couldn't actually kill the videos or the channels that had it anymore. Like I said, he's not clever. He's not cunning at all. It's all just weak ass shit. His views were already down. But this is how you don't play isn't hurting him because their views he wasn't going to get anyway. You know what I'm saying? He opened up a market for this is how you don't play. He birthed it. And then he helped foster it. It's probably one of the few things in DSP's life that he's actually raised, not properly, but that he's raised that's gone on to be far more successful than him, which is hilarious. Which is hilarious.
To take attention away from my channel, people are going to want to watch the negative deriding version of the content rather than the original content.
If that's the case, then why were you worrying about the comment section then? Why did you kill your own comment section if that's the case? Think about what he's saying. He's saying that, hey, they were pulling viewership and attention away from my content. I can't have that happen. Well, but the other side of that argument, his argument, by the way, is that, oh, well, I had to go ahead and stomp out this is how you don't play because people were coming under my videos, leaving these hateful, racist, and just nasty comments that were ending up in the this is how you don't play. Well, two things can't be the same, at least in this particular scenario. Two things can't actually happen at once, Phil. Either that or you haven't thought out your statement. So which one was it? Either nobody was watching your shit and they were just waiting for This Is How You Don't Play, or people were watching your shit so they could troll it so it could make it into the This Is How You Don't Play. Which one is it? It could theoretically be both. But with DSP's limited brain capacity, let's be honest. The gin won a long time ago. The pickling process is damn near complete. I'm not going to give too many more freebies out here. He's going to have to pick.
I'm going to see a big views dip, and this is going to hurt my bottom line for my business. I was absolutely correct. That's actually exactly what happened.
But that's his fault. He's the one who brought attention to it. He's not, I don't know if he's going to admit that or not, but he brought attention to it. He's the reason why it is what it is now. We'll see how he plays it.
People stopped watching my raw content and instead just waited for someone to make a This Is How You Don't Play of the latest playthrough I did. So my views plummeted.
That's kind of a lie, though, because if you think about it, the very people who, I would say the core of people who supported This Is How You Don't Play and still do, were people who either didn't like Phil already because he had already talked a bunch of asshole shit, or who had voiced their concerns and DSP had blocked and or banned. That's what kind of makes that core of that viewership. Then you get the people who found this asshole being an asshole and then found an alternative and just went there. Then you had mainstream guys, just as I said earlier, who don't want to go through his slop content, found a compilation that was far better put together and got a point across, was quick and easy, right, and convenient, and went to that. He literally stacked the market up for himself to fail, and for This Is How You Don't Play to succeed. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
100%. I was very massively negatively affected by This Is How You Don't Play. If I didn't change my formula up to be a live streamer and a crowd-funded individual, I would be bankrupt completely and irreparably today. Seriously. Like, I wouldn't be able to make any profits. It's crowdfunding that allows.
That's literally not true, because let's be honest, he didn't actually commit. He didn't go penny deep into fucking live streaming until he ain't fucked things up with Machinima. That was first quarter of 2017. He had dabbled in it here or there before that, but let's be honest, his most lucrative era of live streaming and when he really committed to it wasn't until 2017. You know what I'm saying? He was already faltering and failing before we even got to that point. This Is How You Don't Play wasn't the first domino that dropped. The dominoes were already falling. That's the reality of it. If he was honest with himself, he's never going to be honest. But if he was honest with himself, he's never going to be honest. But if he was honest with himself, he would admit that. He was already falling. You know what I'm saying? Views were already dropping. People were tired of their fucking sub boxes being anywhere between 30 and fucking 60 videos from just one ass clown a day. Like, he had set everything up. He set everything up for himself to fail, to be honest. So for some of you who are wondering, I doubt any of you who are regular viewers, I should say, ask this question, but let's just say you do, hypothetically. For those of you who ask, why didn't he never make it to 500,000 or 1 million? It's literally just because of that. Because his people's sub boxes were getting flooded, that they didn't want to watch his shit because they couldn't see anything else. But alas, that was the design. He did that on purpose. He didn't care about a sub count. If you were always watching his shit, right? Or if you were forced to watch his shit to go through to get to everything else in your sub box, he took it as a win. And it actually hindered him and fucked him over later, which is hilarious. The worst villain ever.
Allows me to make profitability today. Right now, take a look at what happens. I turn on my live.
He's not even a villain. He's a henchman. He's like a day one henchman. You know what I'm saying? Who thinks that he could be the top guy? Who thinks he could be the top villain and shit if he was just given the opportunity? And in a lot of ways, that rings true.
Stream, someone has already clipped something from this stream and uploaded it to their channel before my live stream's offline. That's illegal.
How is that illegal when the live stream is already online? Like, make that make sense. The fact that he doesn't understand that is wild to me. You're complaining that people are clipping segments out of your live stream and putting it up before you can put up the VOD when you're literally live streaming on the very same platform. And not that he had any justification when he was on Twitch and people were doing that to him on YouTube, but you're on YouTube trying to compete with people who put up videos on YouTube. Make that make sense. They're already watching your bullshit in real time. You're already being compensated in real time. Maybe, just maybe, if he didn't delete the VODs, well, he's more than likely privating them, which doesn't matter, because whether he deletes the VOD or privates it, he doesn't get any credit for any of it. So any of the ad revenue he makes on it literally just goes up in smoke. So it doesn't really matter, let alone will he get any residuals off it later, because the video is not live for him to do anything with. Semantics. It doesn't matter. You're literally hindering yourself. You're not hurting any, no one's hurting you. You're only hurting yourself. And the fact that you're not smart enough to realize that is the reason why you haven't been able to take down the Clipper channels or the editing channels. You're doing it to yourself. You're going to run to YouTube and say, hey, I'm streaming on your platform and people are clipping my stuff and whatnot, so I can't clip it later. They're going to be like, but you're already streaming on our site though. Yeah. Okay, so what are you talking about then? You're already being compensated. People are watching your live streams, hence the reason why it got clipped, right? Yeah. So then what are you complaining about? Oh, I don't get the residuals later. Get out of here. Sorry, sir. We got real problems to deal with, not this fucking mongoloid bullshit that you're stemming up. You know what I'm saying? Pick your knuckles up and figure out a better way of doing it.
Like, that's copyright infringement. My stream's still online. You clipped and put a clip up. You broke the law. You cannot do that. Okay? But I'm not rich. I can't slap all these people with lawsuits. So imagine today.
And it's funny because I think Rich tried to do some bullshit like this too and it didn't work. But whatever. Not like lol cows are original, so it is what it is on that.
If I relied on sole ad revenue when my YouTube channel brings in 500,000 views a month.
Not anymore. It's really closer to like 350. Sometimes you're kissing 400,000. Shit's in a decline. A massive decline. Let's put things in perspective. In 2017, he was able to pull in like 3+ million views a month. It's 2017. We're in 2025, and he's barely holding on to 400,000 a month. Think about that.
That's true. DSP Gaming only brings in 500,000 views.
And we're not even in the golden age of detracting anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, the golden age of detracting, unfortunately, has already passed us by. Not to say that a new age or even a better age can't come upon, all right, or can't be a thing. But the golden age of detracting, when he was really out here fighting for his motherfucking life and shit, he was still doing well. Now look at the situation. Got more detractors than ever. You got more people. You have more people thinking outside the box than ever before. And it's only made things worse for himself. His only way of combating the current age of detracting is to make his own content worse and hope that people just get bored or people will be distracted and go and do something else. And it's failed him miserably. But because he's so delusional, he believes that he could build it back up if he can just get some of the bigger guys just to stop. Why would they stop? You're hurting yourself. Why would they stop that? Why would they stop you? It's easier just to let you keep hanging yourself, if you will, or keep setting up the noose, and then let you go ahead and put your head through it. Go ahead to that magical dream world that's just beyond that noose and see what happens. Choose your own adventure.
Month now, because they steal all my content. Everyone watches my content on other channels before they watch it on my own, because everyone illegally clips and uploads it first before I even can. How fucked up is that? Where did that practice begin? This is how you don't play. Taking my content out of its raw form, making it something else, and putting it on the channel without permission.
People were clipping him before that, by the way. Let's keep it a buck. People were clipping him before that. Now, it's probably fair. It could be fair to say that This Is How You Don't Play was like the first real initiative to break him down through his content. Actually, I would have to say it is, but I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot of moving parts out there. But for sure, the concept of This Is How You Don't Play originally belongs to Evil AJ. No one can ever take that away from him. So yeah, I would say someone who breaks down his actual gameplay in the ignorance and it's stupidity that represents. It has to be Evil AJ. I'm sure people have clipped small stuff here or there about his gameplay, but really it was more about what he was saying and whatnot, to be honest with you, which is what opened up the market for Evil AJ to do his thing. Big ups.
Now, as we all know, in the last 13 years, all the laws and everything have been hashed out. We know that This Is How You Don't Play is actually legal.
It always was. What are you talking about? It was always legal. You know what I'm saying? You went through Machinima. Machinima was able to pull strings, whatever. That didn't make it right or legal. Let me give you an example. Back when Nintendo went ahead and put out their initiative that, hey, if you guys want to make Nintendo content and be able to profit off of it, you got to come under our MCN. People that were part of Machinima, DSP especially, didn't have to worry about that. Now, how did they pull that off? Don't know. Machinima was pretty powerful at that time. And maybe Nintendo was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really trying to get involved in that. So we'll just go ahead and take the rest of the table. Whatever Machinima don't have, or some of the other bigger MCNs, but mainly Machinima, whatever they don't have as it pertains to content creators who do Nintendo content, everybody else will just pull them under our own umbrella. And that's essentially what they did. But if you look at it, what Nintendo did, theoretically what Machinima was doing and what DSP was doing by proxy was illegal. He shouldn't have been able to monetize his Nintendo content without the written consent or being under Nintendo's umbrella when it comes to monetized content. And yet Machinima allowed him to do it. Just something to think about. If you ever want to, go back and look at that really, really close and whatnot. Like you still find the original shit on his channel. But if you go back and look at that scenario, you find shit on Reddit, even Twitter, if you go back far enough, as well as some articles. You'll see what I mean, especially when Nintendo decided to lift that embargo. It's kind of what it was. When they lifted that embargo later. Make of that what you will. And even then, Phil fucked himself over because if you think about it, he was still on Machinima during Apocalypse, and that Nintendo thing was still a thing. So when DSP got booted off of fucking Machinima, and he was scrounging around looking for someone else to take him on, which eventually ended up being Curse, he still couldn't monetize his YouTube videos. So all the Nintendo games he was playing on stream had to essentially pay for themselves on stream because he couldn't monetize any of that shit when he put it on YouTube later. Hilarious. But see, DSP didn't think about any of that when he was harassing Machinima to be like, fix this, pay me whatever it is that I feel that I'm worth. It almost makes you think, Mr. Mature adult with a business degree, if he had looked at that Machinima situation in context fully, like if he really thought about what it was he was losing, beyond his fucking snout and the reach of his hoof, he would have realized, you know what, I'll just shut the fuck up. I'll go back to Twitch, which is what he was going to do anyway. And hopefully Machinima works itself out. Now, granted, for those of you who have followed the Machinima situation, they were going to drop him anyway. They more than likely were going to drop him before they ended up tanking. So it doesn't really matter, but I surmise, I'm sure there's another detractor out there who's crunched the numbers and could give you a better assessment. But I surmise that if DSP didn't fuck himself out of that Machinima contract in 2017, he would have held on to it till at least mid-2018. At least mid-2018. Because I don't think Machinima fell just yet. And he screwed all of that over. He sat there and made his whole back catalog basically non-existent because he was crying about basically month-to-month money. I want you to think about that. It's fucking hilarious.
All right, it is. As long as you're adding commentary and criticism to it, and it's not just raw gameplay with nothing over it, it's allowed. I would argue that the original This Is How You Don't Play's perfectly 100% are transformative works. So they would be allowed today legally. There's no problem. These other people,
they were allowed back then too. There wasn't a precedence that said that they weren't. So yet again, another example of him trying to skew the argument to act like there was some large ruling that said, oh yeah, now this can actually exist. No, that never happened.
Who literally just clip me out of context with no commentary and criticism and no editing, just, hey, it's just raw. That's completely illegal and they're not allowed to do that. Okay, but This Is How You Don't Play, for the most part, would have been considered legal by today's findings of what's happened in the last 13 years. So Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Today, I don't give a shit about anything anyone says or does about me. As you know, like you said, you said in your tip, well, you don't bring up this is how you don't play anymore. No, I just don't bring up any negative stuff anymore. I don't care.
Except for what, another month or two later, though, we talk about suing people. Semantics.
Because if I did, my entire day would be bringing up negative stuff because that's how it's been. That's how toxic the world has turned against me because they realized, hey, being toxic to Darksydephil is profitable for me. I can make tons of money making fun of Phil, even though it's illegal.
And that right there is the fingerprint of duty. And I've had some people speak to me on that and be like, hey, was it really a bad thing? It pisses DSP off. It does this, that, and the third. I mean, I guess it depends on what perspective you want to look at it from. Him, duty, me in particular, flexing his amount of money or whatever money that he makes or whatever is gonna usually, it's more than likely gonna be the linchpin that's gonna end up strangling his ass later. More than likely. And even though he's probably changed them now, the majority of his backlog is something's gonna probably need to happen to it. Well, you know what happens when you start deleting some of your older shit, right? Right. So I don't know if it was really worthwhile. But then again, if he wants to put the bullet, the bullseye on his chest and take whatever comes with it, then so be it. He has the right to do so. But was it really worth it? Is it really worth it now that you're literally the primary target for DSP and anybody else who he can get to listen to him that's at a point of authority? And then who's duty going to run to? Exactly. He's not going to go to some of the people around him. They're not going to want to fuck up their situation. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And he could, one can make the argument, he could go to Keem, but Keem had already gotten duty demonetized once already, despite what duty may tell you. More than likely, Keem was the one who got him, well, not even more than likely, Keem did. Keem got duty demonetized. So what allies does fucking DSP, does duty have? And I want to make sure I implore this upon you about the fucking Keemstar thing. Keemstar looks at what duty did, goes to his contact at YouTube and is like, hey, I need you to look at this. And they were like, oh, well, yeah, that's easily something that should be demonetized. That right there is blatantly breaking our shit. Bam. Duty shot down for like a month or whatever it was that he was demonetized. So if DSP can get enough momentum behind him, I mean, yeah, duty might only be down for a month or two or whatever, however long it was that he was demonetized, but he's more than likely going to take that hit. So putting all that attention on yourself and giving DSP something tangible to go after is kind of ill-advised. It wasn't exactly a great idea. If he knew his lore, if you looked at what Tevin went through, Tex, Bill Purnell, what Snort Burnell went through, what Secret Limited went through, what happened to David Davison, Mr. Huffstone, I can go down the list if you want. If he had known his history and looked at what other people went through who didn't even antagonize DSP like that, or if they did it to various degrees, you could see what happened to them. I don't think it was actually worth it. I don't watch duty, so I'm pretty sure, I don't know what he's doing now. I don't know how he shifted or moved or whatever. But the thing is, and this is what DSP is going for. I'll come out and say it now because I don't have any dog in this fight or whatnot. I don't give a shit about duty. But at the same time, though, too, I don't want to see fucking DSP prosper. So it is what it is. If duty's smart, he needs to take a look at that back catalog of his. And he needs to make some changes. Because if he don't, and DSP decides to hit him for that, and duty has to delete that shit, well, there you go in the algorithm. There you go in the search engine. Consider this my good deed for today, I guess. You can do what the fuck he wants with it. But, I mean, that, he should probably stop lying on people, too. Duty should probably stop doing that. But, whatever. But, yeah, that's what DSP is actually going for. That's why DSP is taking all this time in air quotes to document people. I'm assuming that's what his motive is. That's what his MO is right now. It's not about hitting what duty's doing right now. He can definitely keep that on the back burner. But he wants to go after duty's back catalog. And if he can hit all of that shit, he can cripple the channel. And how does DSP know that? How do I know that? Because DSP did that to himself. When he sat there and deleted all those videos over the false copyright claims and all that bullshit. DSP knows better than anybody. Something to think about.
So I'm not going to sit here talking about it, fighting it, bitching about it all day. I've got positive content to make. And quite frankly, the viewers who are here who like me don't give a shit about the toxic idiots. They would much rather never hear about it. And that's what I've learned. So that's why I just ignore it and don't bring it up anymore. And I'm very successful doing that. If you haven't noticed, I make a ton of money. I'm very profitable.
If that's the case, then why do you have to wage quit games then? Why is it that one game, not having a successful stream automatically puts it on the chopping block, or the threat of it being put on the chopping block, or it just outright gets axed? One stream can do that. If you want to be generous, we'll say 2. But most of the time, it's just one stream that will sit there and send a playthrough to the Shadow Realm. The Gouty Realm. The Gouty Shadow Realm? I'll figure out something. But if that's all it takes, if $150 is is essentially the scale of whether a playthrough lives or dies, how successful are you really? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Goals, but I also get to do what I love. And that's the way to be successful, is to ignore the nonsense.
You mean like how you're ignoring it now? You mean like how your audience doesn't care about any of it, but yet someone in your audience actually brought this up? Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
What's happened is this bizarre toxic ecosystem has just evolved around me. And even though I'm at the center of it, I'm no part of it. I just want
think about what you just said. I'm at the center of something, but I'm not a part of it. But you said yourself that you're at the center of it, but you're not a part of it. That's like saying the sun is not part of the solar system. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, what does that mean? All right, bro.
I want you to think about how weird that is. I'm a man in a bubble, but I have nothing to do with the bubble. I just think
what? I'm a man in a bubble, but I have nothing to do with the bubble. But the bubble's all around you, though. Like, it encases you. Like, you realize that, right? Like, it's keeping you in, and it's kind of preventing you from getting out. So how's that not? Whatever. I'm not even gonna. Don't need to fight stupid. They'll beat you every single time.
Ignore it because it doesn't benefit me. It's just really there because they're all leeches. And the day that I don't stream is the day they can't make.
And here's the thing, though, too. He's, by definition, he's lying. Because if he was part of this, if he's the center of all of this stuff, but he's not actually a part of it, then why are you trying to take stuff down? How has he been able to take things down, if that's the case? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You're on a platform where you put out free content. Well, it's free content, but he doesn't make it. He tries to tell you it's free, but it's not. Because he clearly tries to put shit behind a paywall. He just gives you the illusion of choice. Anyway, you're on a free platform putting out content for the public, and people have a right to criticize it. So how are you not part of the platform? And how are you, by definition, not part of the criticism when you're putting out the content that's being criticized or praised? It's funny, if this was all praise, he would yet again, he would use his, I assume, his son analogy and say, hey, you know, I radiate all of this positivity and all of this entertaining content, and everybody loves me for it. But it's negative. Oh, I'm just here and I can't do anything, so I just ignore it. Just because you ignore it doesn't mean that it's still not going on, and it doesn't mean that you're still not part of it. You can't be the nucleus of something and then sit there and say, oh, well, the rest of this around me, I don't know where it came from. I don't have anything to do with it. I'm just here. It doesn't work that way. Holy shit.
Make a buck, right? So just imagine if, like, I got really sick, or, you know, I broke my hands, or, you know, what if I got a car accident, right? Just think about that.
I would report on it just like everybody else would. And then I get to go into then people like myself will go into the fun shit and speculate, well, was he drunk driving? Or was he arguing with Kat? Was he even with Kat? Was he on Twitter talking to another woman and not paying attention? I've seen some of those fucking truck driver, those what they call it, that virtual truck driving shit he likes to do. Yeah, he can't keep the fucking truck on the fucking road to save his fucking life at times. So yeah, Phil, it's gonna breed content. It's gonna breed content. So don't sit there and try to play these hypotheticals on, oh, if I disappear, they're gonna freak the fuck out. Either they're not gonna make content, they're gonna speculate about content, or they're gonna wait till your ass get back. Or they'll go over the old stuff in the story. And trust me, to be honest with you, as it pertains to the latter, there should be more people that should be doing that. They should be going over the lore and giving their own opinion on it. A fresh set of eyes on old content is never a bad thing. But semantics, that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
What would they do?
Or that, and actually, look, I got a fifth option now I think about it. Just move on to the next lolcow until you get back, if you even come back. A lot of lolcows out here, man. There's a lot of lolcows out here. You think of yourself as so what's the word? Prolific. Ha! I got it this time. First try. First verse, all first verse. You call yourself so prolific and shit, which is kind of the reason why you have the detractors you do and you have as many as you do. There are other lolcows out there. There are plenty of options. And truth be told, most content creators should have a couple of pocket lolcows just in case. And that and it breaks the monotony of some of this shit.
They'd have nothing to do. It's bizarre, isn't it? But that's why I don't bring it up, you know? And you're right. If back in the day, I hadn't brought up this is how you don't play in the way that I did, the very toxic, negative way that I did.
Which is the only way you could have done it, because you don't know anything else. You can keep preaching this positivity bullshit all you want. What you say and what you do are two separate things. And you have no right to talk anything about positivity because you don't have the practice. Stay in your lane.
Number one, it probably wouldn't have blown up. Number two, probably there wouldn't have been a viral movement to go against Darksydephil and make money doing it. And number three, maybe, just maybe, things would have been a lot better for me. And, you know, to this day, I would have been seen in a positive light. I would have still been a big...
He's trying really, really hard to make it seem like this is how you don't play's fault, while trying to come across like he's somehow competent or comparable or culpable or he's somehow involved with it. Like he's very much part of the problem. And he's saying that, but he's trying to front load that to you while at the same time trying to literally dump that it's all this is how you don't play's fault as well. And he's hoping that, you know what I'm saying? He's hoping that the latter will outweigh his own culpability in it. And it doesn't work that way, Phil. At the end of the day, it was all your fault. It was literally all your fault. Yes, Evil AJ made the video. Yes, there was a bunch of people who didn't like you for whatever reasons that they didn't like you, who watched the video, supported it, and passed it around. But by you sitting there bitching and complaining about it, you sitting there saying, oh, I don't understand, or I don't know if this guy fucking, he didn't say Evil AJ's name at the time, I don't think. It's in an Ask the King. He says that, I don't know if this guy's going to come to my house and fucking murder me. When you say wild ass shit like that, trying to demonize people, because that's what a perpetual victim does. They try to demonize people. You just went ahead and locked Evil AJ into fucking history and shit. There's a reason why when people, I don't think actually many people have said this. I'm sure there has, but if you were talking about who's on your detractor Mount Rushmore, right? Evil AJ's up there. Like for sure, he's up there. And what's DSP going to be able to do about that? He helped put him up there. He helped actually chisel fucking Evil AJ's face into the shit. Theoretically, DSP actually picked the spot. You did it all on your own. And he's having a hard time. You're seeing it here with the struggle session. He's having a hard time like owning up to that. Like, you know what? Damn, it really is my fault. He's having a real hard time doing it. So he has to keep trying to skew the line, saying, well, I did problems, or I had issues, or I did stuff wrong, but you can't put that all on me. You can't. You know, I just dealt with the situation the way I did, and it was terrible, and it even signal boosted, and it brought more people who didn't like me to it. But if he didn't do the video, well then what? What happened happened. And because you're a reactionary bitch, because you can't think in the long term, because you can't see the big picture, you fucked yourself, and you've been fucking yourself. And truth be told, it didn't have to be this is how you don't play. It could have been anything that could have caused this to him. He should be so lucky it was just that. If people were seriously signal boosting the shit that DSP said about other content creators, about game writers, about game journalists, about game publishers and stuff like that, and if it got the type of attention that this is how you don't play did, he'd have been far worse. He'd have been in a far worse situation. He's very fortunate. Very fortunate. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying those things didn't hurt him. They did. But if they had gotten the type of attention that this is how you don't play did, he'd been brigaded out of the water a long ass time ago. A long time ago.
YouTuber. I wouldn't have had massive crimes committed against me every day. But, you know, again, I've said this all along. My journey has been a unique one. I am one of the actual innovators of being a full-time content creator and gaming creator. There was no blueprint of someone who had done it before me of who was successful.
So that gives you so that gives you basically a free pass to be a retard and shit, treat people like trash? Nah, that's not how that works, champ. That's not how it works. That's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? All you had to do is be a decent person. People like Maximilian proves that. People like Rad Brad prove that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can keep going down the fucking spectrum if you want. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time you heard a big scandal out of either one of them guys? Not saying that they don't have them and whatnot. Max for sure. He has a few interesting ones, but he handled it right. He took responsibility. We moved on. So where was the blueprint for those guys? And they were around at the same time that you were. And neither one of them are looked anywhere the way you are. So don't sit there and try to say that bullshit. Oh, the groundwork wasn't laid down for me and I made mistakes and this, that, and the third, and they just won't let me go. Nah, it wasn't that you made mistakes. It's that you try to blame those mistakes on other people. But even more importantly than that, you kept making new ones. New ones that you should have already learned from. That's what got you. Everybody makes mistakes. And you'll continue to make mistakes until you stop breathing. People criticize you for making the same type of mistakes. Or even making the same mistake over and over and over again. That's where the problem lies.
At all. None. Zero. So I was just winging it and trying to find my own path and do it my own way. And I made a lot of mistakes along the way. This is definitely one of them. 100% definitely one of them. So, okay.
And then he still never learned anything from it. He's dealing with the fallout and the consequences of it, but he still hasn't learned anything. And that's the reason why Darksydephil is so close to getting the crown away from Chris Chan, but he won't. DSP tells you again, or I'll say it again. DSP says that he's prolific, he's consistent, he's all these things. He is. In his ignorance, his stupidity, and his racism, and all the other bullshit, he is very consistent with all of that. And he is very prolific, right? The thing is there's no redeemable qualities about him at all. There's never one time that he's come out and said, I'm sorry because I did this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And even when he tries, he fails at it because his natural incantation is to blame others for the mess up that he was in. If these people didn't act a certain type of way, I wouldn't have made the mistake. I wouldn't be dealing with the problems. And he still just hasn't learned. Hey, you made this mistake. You're dealing with it, and you're going to keep dealing with it. Oh, well, it's not fair. It's not fair. If this person didn't do this, then this wouldn't have happened. Well, you don't know that. What we do know is by you acting the way you kept acting consistently, that made you so prolific and made you so notorious and infamous, is the reason why you're still begging for scraps day to day. While other content creators are making upwards of $1 million+ or more a year, and that's before sponsorships and endorsements and all that, he's just getting by with his little 100,000 plus a year. I don't mean to say it like that. Let me give it the respect it deserves. He's making his 100,000 a year, little more, a little less, and has the nerve to call himself successful when he doesn't have a retirement plan. He doesn't have any investments and whatnot. He don't even have any savings. Max gets sick tomorrow, he's good. His kids get sick tomorrow, well, his child gets sick tomorrow, he's good. Kind of, sort of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in that, well, besides having the deal with a very sick child, God forbid that happens, he can step away from all this shit and make that work. He can make that happen. There are guys in the FGC who can say that. DSP can't. And he's here, like what he says, 6 days a week full time. And he can't even make ends meet. He wants to sit here and say, I got money, I'm successful, I'm great, until a playthrough ain't doing well. Hey guys, I need your support. I need you guys to buy in. This is how I make my money. This is how I make ends meet. Does that sound like someone who's successful? Does that sound like someone who's doing all right? For all the shit that I give Duty, well deserved, is Duty running around here crying about how he can't make ends meet and shit? Is he bitching and complaining about how, hey, if you don't watch this video, he's fucked? I haven't heard him do that. I don't watch him, but I haven't heard him do it. And if he said it, trust me, I'm sure I'd hear it. The point is he's not doing that. So what separates DSP from everybody else? Yet again, something to think about.
I received a $3 tip. What's one piece of advice or criticism from the past that you wished you listened to back then? And what's the biggest misconception about you? Well, the biggest piece of advice or criticism would have been to just chill out and roll with it. Like, to be honest,
He never could, though, because this was the only time in his life, in his entire fucking life, that he's ever been acknowledged for anything, good, bad, or otherwise. He was scared to give it up. He couldn't give it up. And so, if you've basically been a loser or a piece of shit your whole life, you'll do whatever you can in your power to keep it, by any means necessary, even if it's at your own deficit. And so there you go. And that right there is something universal. Wings was like that. Review Tech USA is like that. Keem is like that. Boogie's like that. You want me to keep going? Because there's a lot of locales that I can name. It is what it is. All of them people were losers at one time or another. When they found the little bit of success or positivity or whatever fucking lame-ass way they want to spew it to you, they grasped on it. And they did everything they could to hold on to it. Some succeeded, or at least some benefited from it in ways that they weren't expecting to, I should say. And a lot of people didn't. Womp womp.
some of the things that have happened to me that really could have ended me because I just chilled out and rolled with it, they blew over. You know, my incident is probably the biggest of all of those.
How was that going to end you? I mean, it ended, and actually he's lying, because it ended any type of real credibility or any reason to bring him into a conversation about anything. And that's the reason why he keeps bringing up the, oh, this could have ended me, but it didn't. The reality, and that's why he keeps telling this, he keeps retelling that story. If DSP had any credibility whatsoever as it pertains to gaming or content creation or streaming or whatever the fuck, if he had any, I doubt that he did. But let's say he did. But I doubt that he did. But let's say he did. All that got wiped away jerking off like that on fucking stream, bro. And then the jerking off part is not even the fucking hilarious part. Because it looked like he was just in a whole lot of pain, honestly. So womp 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 womp. Must be dealing with like that what King Cobra or fucking Cyrax when they're all chronic masturbators and shit, and you start, I guess, you know what I'm saying, you start breaking skin or whatever the fuck, you start bleeding all over the place, whatever the case may be. For those of you who know, you know. That's not what actually hurt him in the whole incident situation. It's what he did after the fact. Looking at the camera, hello, the fucking back and forth, fucking, you know what I'm saying, teetering and all that bullshit. That's what killed him, quote unquote. That's what killed Darksydephil, DSP, Phil Burnell, Dark Geppetto. It's how he reacted. It's how he reacted immediately after finishing spreading his pig juice. That's the part that people laugh about. That's the part that killed any of his credibility or viability in anything. But DSP is so focused on him jerking off. No, it's after you spewed your pig juice is what people laugh at. It's what killed you. It's what cut down any credibility. It doesn't matter what you say from this point, it can be mocked. Even if he's right, which he's not. Even if he's right, he's still wrong. That's what killed Darksydephil. Now, is DSP smart enough to know that? Probably not. But if you really look at it, that's what killed him. That's what killed him. Oh, and he'll never recover. And he could say that was going to end him, this, that, and the third. Oh no, you got a mentally ill man who jerked off on stream, didn't wash his hands, and decided to seesaw himself backwards and forwards, or not backwards, forwards, side to side, for what, 15 seconds or whatever the fuck it was? You know how wild that is? Do you know how fucking mentally fucked you must be? So if you're retarded and you're mentally disabled, what does that say? And that's how people look at him. Oh, he's definitely disabled, or he's definitely mentally ill, or he's both. It's the only way to explain that. No rational person has done that shit. Not like that. And we've all seen, for even whether you guys want to admit it or not, a lot of chicks on Twitch who either were getting fucked by their boyfriend on Twitch, or masturbated, or whatever the fuck, and none of them reacted like that. They got up, they cleaned up, they got up, and you know what I'm saying, whatever. They didn't do what he did. So if he's so goddamn unique in that way, he is unique, I suppose. Because regular people don't do that. Mistakes can be made. It's how you handle those mistakes, and that's what killed him. And that's why the incident or whatever continues to proceed or persist, I should say, to this very day. Womp womp.
Where if I had been so upset that it happened and tried to be defensive about it, and
you were defensive about it. First off, you said it didn't happen. You said you were scratching your leg. You went to Machinima to have them take down videos and channels to make that happen. You said that you reached out to Drama Alert about it, but that's not true. Drama Alert had already had he didn't do that. Drama Alert actually reached out to him for comment, and he said, well, do you guys want me on your show? And Keem was like, hell no, I don't want you on my show. Fuck all that. I already have the tape. I don't need you. If you have a comment, say it. If not, fuck off. And that's what happened. So DSP didn't try to handle this like a mature adult and all that bullshit. That's a lie. And actually, you want to know why that lie is propagated the way it is? Because of fucking Review Tech USA and Monday Matt. Quick history. So around the time that this was going on, Review Tech has a video. It's gone now, but it's on one of the many archive channels that are around, where he speaks on it and says, oh, well, DSP said he was scratching his leg. He clearly didn't scratch his leg, but he's taking it on the chin. He is taking it on the chin. So, you know, it's not all bad. And as long as he can roll with the punches, he might be all right. Monday Matt basically tried to do the same thing. Now, that's weird. That's weird. Why is it that Monday Matt and Review Tech USA are trying to run interference for DSP on that situation? That's real strange. That's real weird. I've been thinking about that over the last couple years now. Well, few years, actually, since I discovered it. That was real strange. Why either one of those guys would run interference for DSP. That was real strange. I mean, Monday Matt had a good laugh out of it, though, and whatnot. I'm not sure if I can even find an archive for that. I would have to go through my own archive to see if I can find that. I know I have it, though, for sure. And because I don't think Monday Matt has an actual... I don't think there's anybody who has an archive of everything on his channel. I don't think. Because that's a really, really old video. I think that was before... I want to say that was before Gamergate. No, it might have been afterwards. It might have been afterwards. I don't know now. I can't remember if it was before Gamergate or not. I don't know if his face was out there. I don't know if his face was out there yet. Because I don't think he had gotten doxxed by... I don't think he got doxxed at that point just yet. I'll have to think on that. Anyway, but I always thought it was interesting that the two of those guys were one of the few people who came to his defense, while everybody else was just blatantly laughing at him.
All of that, it probably would have been the end. But because I rolled with it, it didn't even affect me in a negative way at all. It actually ended up being a net positive, as stupid as that sounds. Okay?
Yeah, for like a month, because they wanted to see if the retarded monkey was going to do it again, or what other stupid stuff he was going to do. And then actually, it's the worst thing. It's one of the worst things that happened to him, because that really brought a lot of attention to his detractors at that time. So he essentially, yet again, opened up the market for people to be like, well, damn, we could watch his slop content, or we could watch these guys who have the quick compilations of it. Let's go there. And that's what they did. And that's what they did. And it's hilarious when you think about that shit in hindsight. Let's call everything a buck for a second. Think about some of the people. Let me throw out some of the scenarios or some of the people that you may have watched, or situations that happened that may have drawn you into Detractor content, or maybe even got you to find out who DSP was, and then leads you to Detractor content. I'm gonna do this off the top. So this is how you don't play. The Incident, Brightside Bob, or also known as Mr. Medicare, Tevin back in those days, SOK. Let's see, what else did he do? The Mitch Dyer situation. That's when he sat there and bitched to complain about fucking Double Dragon Neo, I think it was. When he and bitched to complain about that shit. Shit that's happened to him in the FGC. Or stuff that he had brought over from the FGC over to YouTube. Just some of his bullshit, insane rants. Obviously, Metal Gear, how he handled, this is how you don't play in the Metal Gear Solid situation. Just his shots at other fucking YouTubers. Toby Turner, for example. Stuff like that. There's a bunch of different ways you could be introduced into this shit. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of different avenues. There was a bunch of large content creators who took shots at him. Like I said, Total Biscuit and Jim Sterling took shots at him year in, year out for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like within their own little, not within their content, I should say. You know, they would throw out a jab here and there at him. And some people were like, well, shit, who the fuck is that guy? Let's go take a look. Stuff like that. So when DSP tries to tell you that he was so influential, or he had all this reach, this, that, and the third, it's not in the way that he tries to portray it. He had sat there and pissed off or pissed on himself in a bunch of different ways, and people took bits and pieces of it and and disseminated it the way they did. They spread it around. They pollinated, if you will, the way they did. He's literally has always been dependent on the internet for good or bad. His namesake wasn't enough to make that happen. It was the dumb shit that he did. And it was the other people, I should say, who picked it up and who moved with it. If you think about it from that perspective, it really makes a lot of sense on why DSP thinks he's as prominent, prolific, and relevant, actually. I don't even need to use another P. Just relevant as he thinks he is. I was going to use pertinent, but relevant works too. Something about.
But yeah, like, in my opinion, if I had been more mellow back in the day and just rolled with everything and didn't take it so seriously, like I said, I took This Is How You Don't Play very seriously at first. I think things would have been a lot different. But again, you don't know. You know, you just don't know at all. Now, what's the biggest misconception about me? I don't know. Because here's the craziest part. I don't know what the misconceptions about me are anymore because I don't pay attention. I pay absolutely no attention to any of them. They're so insane.
That's literally a lie. What that is he can't tie down. He can't tie down one excuse to basically dissolve everything else. He's basically looking for the head to kill the rest of the body off, and he can't find it because each and every reason you have against DSP is pertinent or relevant in its own way, and he can't debate all of it off. He's too old. He's too tired. And when I say old, I don't mean like he's physically old. He's fucked himself over in such a way because he didn't take care of himself, that he's aged himself far further than he should have. But and he just doesn't have the mental dexterity anymore. He can't fight on multiple fronts like he used to. Not to say that he was doing very well back then, but he damn sure can't do it now. So that's what it comes down to. He knows everything that's said about him. He's intimate with everything that's said about him, good, bad, or otherwise. He just can't fight it. He just doesn't have it in him. Womp womp.
That I just don't care. So I couldn't answer that question. I really have no clue. You know, some of the longest running misconceptions continue. People still think that I blow all my money on mobile video games.
You do. You've proven that. Actually, be honest. Him putting doing those WWE champion streams is probably some of the most damning pieces of evidence that, in the whole WWE champions life cycle. Well, also that time that Jasper was on the chair and you saw WWE champions on his phone, I still personally think, and I'm actually probably the lone wolf on this one, but I personally think DSP did that on purpose. He purposely put that out there like that and made sure that the camera saw it because he wanted to rattle people up into a tizzy. He did that on purpose. I honestly think he did that on purpose. Anyway, I think the way he explained how to play WWE champions, how to succeed at it, so on and so forth, it's a stark contradiction to what BT 9494 on the farms, big ups, and what TJ Gamebox on Twitter says on how you can play the game. DSP's first notion is to throw money at it, these special events. You get this. Throw money at this so you can better up these attributes. Do this, and whatnot. And it's all financial. It's all transactional. That right there screams that, yeah, this is how DSP spends his money. And if this is what he's saying on stream, think about how fucking brain dead he is when he's by himself. Think about how quickly, because he probably already has multiple credit cards linked to, or multiple ways of paying, I should say, linked to his account. Oh, let me buy 3 of these. Let me buy 4 of these. Let me buy 2 of these. Okay, cool. Oh, damn, I'm really close to this last thing. All right, 1 more of these to finish the night off. It's really easy to see how he can rack up $1,000 a day. You know what I'm saying? Or 2,000, 3,000 over a weekend. It writes itself.
No, I don't. People still think that I have a bad relationship with my wife. No, I definitely don't.
If you don't, then why don't you put on all that weight then? Don't worry, I'll wait. If you're in a healthy relationship with someone, unless she has an underlying illness or medical condition that you're not treating, just saying, I'm just throwing it out there, If she has an underlying condition that you guys are not treating, then what the fuck happened, Phil? And if that's the case, why are you so quick to boast about how good a shape you're in when you let your wife walk around like that? You guys want to live a long, happy life with each other, right? Her walking around at damn near 400 pounds is probably going to hinder that in some way, shape, or form. Unless you already have an idea to replace her. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying. Unless you already have an idea to replace her. You got insurance on her, Phil? I'm just saying, if she keels over, you know, some insurance on her would be great. Just throwing it out there. Because Lord knows, if something happened to her, I think Jenna is going to be the first one to want a piece of you. And if I was you, I might be kind of scared on how she goes about that shit. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not wishing nothing on nobody. I'm just throwing it out there.
It's actually quite the opposite. But that's the thing. I'm not going to talk publicly about certain things, and then people just get these crazy ideas in their minds, and then they roll with them. And then they become manic about it.
And yet he does the same thing against other people, though. Like, think about that. DSP says, oh, well, you know, if I don't tell you anything, then you can just come up with whatever you want and you'll run with it. And it doesn't matter if I tell you the truth or not because you've already got it set in your head. But he does that against other content creators. Oh, well, Max, yeah, he's a sellout. But I understand it, though. He has to do what he has to do to feed his family, but he's a sellout, though. Hashtag lies, dude. If he has hashtag ad in anything, he's a liar. How do you know he really likes it because he likes it or because he's paid to do it? Hashtag ads. That's something he literally said. I said that like literally per bono. Or verbatim, sorry. I literally said word for what he actually said about Max. You don't know how Max does his business. You don't know how Max moves. So who are you to make that assumption? But you did it. And you did it with the type of confidence that you accuse people like me doing it. And I know you far better than you know Max. So what are you going to say then? But it's okay for him to do it, but it's not okay for other people to do it to him. Okay, I guess. I suppose.
And then they all believe stuff that's completely false, but I don't know what it is because I don't pay attention. And then sometimes you guys will come in and start spamming the memes.
Now using the audience as a crutch.
On my stream, and I won't even know what you're talking about. I'll be like, huh? And then they're like, oh, what do you mean? You know what we're talking about? I'm like, no, I actually don't. I have no idea what crazy fucking obsession.
And yet he's knee deep in all the memes about Rich, all the memes about Boogie and Wings, all the memes about LTG. He's literally admitting in real time that he's been watching LTG content because he thinks he can somehow manipulate LTG trolls into doing what he wants, which is ridiculous to say the very least, but whatever. But remember, he doesn't focus on any of that shit.
Manic people on the internet are talking about today. I don't pay attention to them. You know, I got better things to do than worry about what a bunch of crazies in that bubble around me are saying today. I have my own content to make to be, you know, successful. That's positive and not toxic drama nonsense that they talk about all day. So, like, here's the deal. Yesterday, I was away from the internet for most of the day. Okay, I was out and about with my wife.
He just said that he doesn't pay attention to anything that goes around him by all these supposed crazies. Then he backtracks because he's an idiot and he wants you to think he's above it, but yet his own ego forces him to be like, no, you need to acknowledge that you're the no. And that's why shit like this happens. I've been thinking about that for a long time too. Like, why would anybody do that? How are you going to sit there and say, oh, I don't know about that. I don't have a clue. And then literally in the next snort, sit there and say, well, I am privy to this. You can't do that. That's legitimately makes no damn sense. It literally makes you come across as mentally ill. How are you going to say that all this shit is crazy and everything who says this stuff is crazy and you're right there absorbing it? That makes you crazy too. Just by the nature of it. Whatever.
Having a good time. I guarantee you yesterday, because I wasn't streaming, it was controversy drama city for these people. And they were spreading all kinds of lies and misconceptions and nonsense about me when I was out having a good time with my wife all day. I'm living life. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. They're the ones who are sitting on the internet all day going crazy. Again, mania, manic behavior. That's the best way to describe how they are.
And yet he can't stop it and he can't profit from it. So what does that make you exactly? Like, I want you to really take that in. Everybody running around here doing this DSP content, having an opinion about Darksydephil, I should say. are all manic, they're all crazy, they're all this, that, and the third. You're not smart enough to stop it, and you're not creative enough, and don't have the type of ingenuity to be able to somehow benefit from it. Can't make it marketable to your advantage, can't profit from it, you can't direct traffic so you could somehow make more money off of it, or even direct more traffic to yourself. So what does that say about you? Yikes. And that's why his go-to is, oh, I just ignore it. Because if he can't control it, if he can't profit from it, if he can't stop it, then he has to just ignore it. And that's the reason why he lives the way he does. That's the reason why we only leave our house once a week. Because he's too scared of what's outside those walls. He can't control it. He doesn't understand it. He don't know what duty look like. He don't know what any of us look like, really, except for those who put themselves out there. So how do you know there's not a detractor that's right across the street, that's right next door, who's delivering your packages, who's bringing you your food, who's bagging your groceries, who's washing your car? Well, he doesn't wash his car, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what scares him more than anything. He's literally wrapped himself up into in this huge ass tizzy, right? That he assumes that everybody around him is a detractor. And one can make the argument, and it's fair to say, so I'll bring it up now. Well, look at the situation over there at what is he at, Comcast? Look at the shit over there at Comcast and how they fucked with his internet. Okay. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So they fucked with his internet for a little while. They didn't take his internet down for a week, a month. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they fucked with his internet. Okay. I got you. I assume it's the internet. If anybody found out who you were, and if they could fuck with you in some way, shape, or form, they probably would. Whether they like you or not. Just to get a reaction. I'm not condoning what they did. I'm just saying that's what this is. He should safeguard himself. He shouldn't dare people to come after him. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Okay. Let's see here. So Big Larry Gaming tipped a buck with a bunch of information about Mario Kart World. Okay. He's got a whole bunch of game information. Let's see what he has to say. So he says, I was rewatching your reaction to the Mario Kart World. I want to clarify some concerns. Okay, let's see what he has to say here. You reacted to the rewind feature saying this would only be online, and that isn't the case. I don't remember saying it would only be online. I remember saying it would only be offline. How would they implement that online? So you're saying the opposite of what I said. Rewinding only affects your character. It's supposed to be if you get stuck in a bad spot when you wouldn't be able to recover from. As for the open world chill driving, there's a reason to it. The missions earn you decals that can put you and your cars and skins and unlock characters. You can also collect coins freely to unlock cars at certain milestones. I'm super hyped to play the game. Yeah, I am. And here's the thing I'm concerned about. So the whole premise of my marathon, which we're going to talk about in a moment, we didn't even get to it yet, is not only am I going to be unboxing, exploring the Switch 2, but we're going to be playing Mario Kart World all day on Thursday. And it's called I'll talk about it in a second.
It's unfortunate that we don't play Mario Kart World anymore. But yet again, like everything else, really, he got broken down piece by piece. You had other big content creators who were laughing at him or how he was doing stuff, like Asmongold is one of them, as well as some of the memes that were circling around Twitter, or X, whatever, Instagram, supposedly all over TikTok. It all beat his ass down, which is funny because if he's someone who, yet again, he's not part of any of this, he's just living his life, right? He ignores the shit. And why are we dropping games? Because how people laugh and mock you. Go no further than the Doom Dark Age situation. Look at how that popped off. Look at how mad he's still at that. Oh, man. A better man would have either quit or figured out a way to actually profit from it. But that's a better man.
It's called the Rainbow Road Rush event. I'm trying to unlock Rainbow Road. But how long is that going to take if you're now required to drive around a giant open world? Are we going from a game where you used to be able to just play the circuits in order and get your job done and you're done? Or now is there going to be insane amounts of padded dead time because you have to drive around this giant open world? I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it now because it might actually destroy the premise of my event, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. All right, I received a $5 tip How do you deal with being the most criticized streamer? I would personally crumble with the weight of the hate. I ignore it. You have to understand something. All the stuff these people say and do doesn't affect me. I'm serious. Unless they're actually directly trying to commit crimes against me, like committing identity theft and messing with my actual business and financials and things like that, which has happened. Okay, don't get me wrong. The things they just say about me on the internet,
even then, some of that stuff is questionable. Like, yet again, one of his linchpins on the WWE Champions thing isn't his. One of the linchpins, there's a bunch of them, is that the identity theft situation, right? When basically the Bank of America transactions or whatever, he says that's not him, right? And that right there is direct correlation to DoorDash deliveries, haircuts, transactions at Total Wine, and yada 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 yada. He has to sit there and say that's not him because that ties him down. But then he keeps saying that he's the victim of identity theft. Like, then make it make sense. I mean, even the Comcast transactions are in there. So which one is it? And given what his quote unquote plan is on Comcast, it matches up with some of the transactions over there. Like he's literally fucked. And he hasn't figured out a way around it. He can't sit there. He can just keep saying, "Oh, I'm a victim of identity theft," but he won't own up to those Bank of America transactions. Well, then he doesn't have a leg to stand on, and that's what side scrollers end up hitting his ass for. And then Steven ended up hitting his ass for that later. So, whatever.
don't affect me in the slightest, like at all. You realize that I don't address it. I don't pay attention to it. Most of the time, I don't even know about it. They just sit there in their own circles talking about it, and it's just a circle jerk. Like literally, it's an endless circle jerk from a bunch of crazies. It doesn't affect me. So why would I care? I'm just, like I said, I'm absolutely sure yesterday they were talking about me. I have no clue what they said, and I don't give a fuck.
And yet that's literal why, because he's on Detractor Twitter and he's on the farms. We know it. I mean, he doesn't have an account on the farms, but he reads the farms. Obviously, he's referenced it enough that it makes you think. Not makes you think, you know that he does. Just like how I know for sure that he was watching Tevin back in those days, even while Tevin was actually restreaming him. I'm confident in it. But even more importantly than that, or at least helps coincide that point, you look at how the situation goes with that being said. Like he's fucking mirroring, or he's mimicking a lot of the shit that they say on that show, or a lot of the stuff they say on that show, I should say, and whatnot. And it's starting to become more pronounced. I told someone this like 2 or 3 months ago, that it's funny how some of those shows that that being said does, they're still streaming, waiting for DSP to pop up. DSP is starting to become later and later starting his streams because I think he's watching them. I honestly think he's watching them. And he's so wrapped up in the bullshit. He's so wrapped up in the bullshit and what they're saying, not the fact that what they're saying is bullshit, but you know what I mean. He's wrapped up in what they're saying that I almost think he forgets to turn his fucking his streams on and shit. So, and I think that's one of the reasons why for a while there, the streams were starting early or they were starting late. He was trying to offset people so he didn't set up a pattern, or a pattern that he thought people could perceive. But that's just me though. That's just me and my delusions. I could be completely off base with that.
I got my life to live. I don't know what they're saying or doing. Why would I even care? I knew I was going to come back today, have a great day hanging out with all of you, right? Had a great new setup for the month. I'm going to have amazing, great content coming out this week. Why do I give a crap what they say? Again, their impact is that of a fart in the wind. You smell it for half a second, you're like, ooh, and then it's gone, and who gives a shit?
I think that's what's called the impact, Phil. The fact that you acknowledge the smell of it. Whatever. Holy shit.
They're just meaningless individuals.
Terrible,
Every single one of them.
Just terrible with his analogies. But these are meaningless individuals, but yet he's talking about suing. We're talking about suing. Wow.
I don't care. Okay. I received a $2 tip. I don't believe this at all. Gameplay of your epic final run in Night Rain is going viral on TikTok. Congrats for redemption and proving haters wrong. Yeah, I don't believe that at all. If there's anything about me on social media, it's toxic and negative. So I just don't believe it. that there's anything positive about me. I don't think it would ever exist.
I thought he said that none of these people have any impact on him, and what they do has no impact on him. And yet this is what his mindset is. That sounds like an impact to me. It looks like it too, but it sounds like an impact to me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I could be wrong though.
So, okay. Why? Because it's not profitable to be positive. It's only profitable to be negative and toxic. So that's why.
But you're saying you're a successful person though, who puts out positive content that people are receptive to, and that's why they continue to support. Let me stop, because if not, I'll nitpick this shit all fucking day. Like, how do you say something like that and then not expect someone to respond to it? All right, whatever. That's
all right. So
that's fine.
What I'd like to do, all right, I want to talk about the big event on Thursday, because this is the big focus, all right, of this whole week, is that this Thursday is my big marathon event. Ladies and gentlemen, this coming Thursday, June 5th, will be DSP's Rainbow Road Rush event. When my Switch 2 arrives, we're going to be doing a live unboxing. We're going to check out how it looks, all of the, form factor, the weight, how the controller feels. We're going to hook it up for the very first time live. We're going to get it working and explore the menus. We're going to download Mario Kart World, and we're going to be playing it all day long. In addition to that,
oh boy,
I have purchased several accessories for the Switch 2. Third-party peripherals and the devices that I'd like to try, including cases.
Waste of money. I don't know why Diggs put this in here, but I'm not going to question it, but I can already bounce off it, so it don't matter. You guys remember when DSP said that he could put product placements in his description? And it's a feature that's all over YouTube, right? And a lot of people do it, right? And it sends you to a link, usually to like an Amazon link or a Newegg or wherever you decide to get your stuff from, or Best Buy or whatever. And you can buy stuff, right? And DSP says he knows of it. He's aware of it. He's even used it a few times, but he hasn't seen enough traction from it to give him a kickback, so on and so forth. So he doesn't see the point in it. And I believe him that he's not getting a whole lot of traction, but I do think he's conditioned himself to continue doing it. And I think that's the reason why he bought all that bullshit for the Nintendo Switch. He's getting it day one or whatever the fuck it was that he got it. He shows all the peripherals. He puts all the links down. People find his channel. Oh, they see the product if they see it, or if they look in the description, or not even, I don't even think they have to look in the description. I think it just shows up. On mobile, it does, for sure. I don't know, I can't remember about desktop, but I know on mobile, it'll just show up all the different peripherals that are mentioned in this video and go off that. And I think that's the reason why he bought it. He was hoping that it would pay for itself, at least eventually. That's just my theory, though. I have no proof of any of that. But it's the only reason I think he can justify buying it, unless the majority of those peripherals, or even half of them, let's say that, belongs to the cat. Which it still could be. They both could still coincide with each other for all we know.
Protective screen, an actual case that you could put on it and you could still dock it, but then a travel case as well. Thumbstick attachments, a wheel attachment so you could drive Mario Kart with a wheel, among other things. So we're going to be testing all of these third-party peripherals during my launch day marathon event while I'm playing, and then we're going to be playing Mario Kart World all day long. The idea of the Rainbow Road Rush event is that I'm going to try to unlock all of the content base level in Mario Kart World on release day, starting with the very first circuit, playing through all the circuits and unlocking all of the tracks, eventually culminating at the end of the night with playing.
Did he get a 3-star rating on all those tracks, though? And through all those cups, or circuits, if you will? I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Rainbow Road, which is
Knockout Tour is really where all the entertainment came from anyway. But he was getting beasted by the computer, though. The computer was beasting the fuck out of him. That shit was hilarious.
Also the last hidden track of every single Mario Kart game. Now, I hope that this event is viable. However, there's a few things that may not happen. For example, I don't know exactly when the Switch 2 is arriving. No one does. Everyone who has pre-ordered their Switches are waiting for them to arrive, and we all have to wait for shipping information. Some people have gotten them way early. I haven't. And some people are wondering At what point on launch day are they going to get it? Me too. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen with the delivery of the Switch. If the Switch shows up early, great. Then we have extra time to do everything I want to do. If the Switch ends up showing up extra late, then likely we're going to look at all the accessories and things over the course of the day until the Switch arrives. Okay. So we got to see what happens. Okay. I hope for the best, really I do, but there's no way to guarantee an early delivery that day. It might show up in the middle of the day. It might show up late. Now, if that happens, what I may actually do is extend the event and carry it into Friday as well, because I think people want to see me do this event, and it would kind of suck if it doesn't happen because the thing shows up so dang late. But I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that it shows up on the earlier side.
And did he even really get any crazy views or anything off of that? Matter of fact, give me a second. I'll actually take a look. now I'm wondering. Okay, my bad. Got sidetracked for a bit. Okay, so we go to... Sorry, this is funny. I'm not sorry. This is hilarious. So Asmongold has a clip on his channel saying worst gamer and whatever. I don't even think Darksydephil's name's in the title. That shit has almost 400,000 views. That's hilarious. Anyway, DSP has a playlist, Mario Kart World playthrough. It's 20 videos. Let's see here. His most viewed video is part 1 at 4,100 views. Got a couple of 2,000 pluses, couple of 1,000 pluses, and then it starts getting into the high hundreds, and it pretty much teetered off by the time he got to the last one. So no, Mario Kart certainly did not save the business. It certainly did not save the business. Holy fuck. Actually, here, let's show you what kind of asshole I am. I'm on Mighty D's channel. Big ups to Mighty D. Let's see here. He has a Mario Kart video here, 12,000 views. He has a... Mighty D has another video, Mario Kart, 42,000 views. Holy shit. He's got another video, 36,000 views. It's all Mario Kart stuff. Got another video, 17,000. Oh, it's so bad. It's a Gundam has a 10-minute video going over some of DSP's hilarious type of moments with the game journalist thing. That has almost 200,000 views. Fucking wild, bro. There's a guy here called Peep is Awesome, who also goes over DSP's nonsense in Mario Kart, has 100,000 plus views on it. This shit is fucking silly. This shit is fucking silly, bro. That must hurt. That must hurt. Holy fuck. Here, and to finish it off, and let's do it right. Big ups to Memology 101. He has his DSP tries a video where Asmongold is laughing at DSP. Sorry, Asmongold is laughing at DSP. His Mario Kart playthrough, or Mario Kart gameplay that's gone viral. That has 230,000 views on it. Holy fuck. DSP just can't win. He just can't win. Oh man, that's fantastic. Anywho. He just can't win. Oh, gotta love that for him.
We could do this all day long, okay? Now, also, during the course of the day, there'll be food, like I said. Maybe we'll order sushi. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll order sushi during the day, and we'll have a sushi meal, which I've never done, in the middle of the show. And then also, there's going to be booze. For every, milestone of support that I get, I'm going to start taking some shots, all right? And I'm also going to probably have some White Claws, or I actually got something else as well. I have this, these lemonades. I think they're called, Smirnoff lemonades or something.
Weird thing that I'll only point out because it doesn't make any sense to me. This guy buys alcohol, right? And he leaves it in his garage on the floor next to the door. And he doesn't actually bring them in until he knows he's ready to drink them. Do you not have cabinets or cupboards in the house? Of course he does. We know this. But why aren't they put in there? Why are you leaving all of your liquor and alcohol and whatever else outside in the garage? You do realize that the heat's going to, why the fuck am I going to help him? Whatever. I never understood that. You're just wasting alcohol doing that shit, but whatever. I thought it was the strangest thing. I've never heard anybody do that. Unless you have a refrigerator in your garage. But to just leave it out there exposed to the elements, all right, bro.
That those are alcoholics. I'm going to have some of those over the course of the day too. So I'm going to have some things while I'm playing Mario Kart. So not only am I challenging myself to get to Rainbow Road by the end of this marathon, which is something I've never done before in a marathon, but also I'm going to be inebriated. So it's going to be pretty challenging to be doing a driving game on launch day while inebriated. Okay. So let's see how it goes and let's make it happen. I think it's going to be a very exciting event. Again, all day Thursday, June 5th, the DSP Rainbow Road.
I gotta think about it. If I had to choose between what was more devastating to him, the Doom Dark Ages or Mario Kart, I think Mario Kart was probably far more devastating, or Mario Kart World, I'm sorry. I think it was far more devastating to him socially than Doom was. I think Doom was the catalyst, obviously. It started the ball off. But boy, some of those clips out there on Mario Kart, bro, the journalist clips, we're talking about they got millions and millions of views all over these platforms, right? Like crazy, crazy numbers. And DSP could never do anything about it, and yet he's not benefiting from it whatsoever. It just drove people to Detractor content. There are more people in the current day and age watching Detractor Twitter than there's ever been. If you think about it, that's wild, man. That's absolutely fucking bizarre. And ironically enough, I said this like a year or two ago, that you were going to see people who were going to branch out from YouTube, from Twitch, and move on to some of these other platforms and shit to meme on DSP in some type of way, shape, or form, or to break ground. And you're seeing that. And more importantly, you're seeing the success from it, which even outweighs what I thought it was going to do. So that's kind of crazy too, to be honest. It's really wild. A big ups though.
Road Rush event, the arrival and unboxing of the Switch 2, exploring peripherals and accessories for the Switch 2, testing all the equipment, getting it hooked up initially, downloading Mario Kart World and playing Mario Kart World all day long while inebriated, the rush to unlock Rainbow Road. Can I do it? Can we unlock Rainbow Road on launch day? We're going to find out. We're going to certainly see all of the courses, hopefully once on launch day, and I'm very excited for it. So be there Thursday, June 5th. Don't miss the Rainbow Road Rush. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I just received an incredibly generous contribution. I'm not making this up. NDO 103 just tipped me $100. Wow. 100.
Now keep in mind, this is very important. It's not important, but it's kind of important. Any tip that he gets in, you have to question it, because he's the only one who sees it. And as DSP has told us, especially this year in 2025, you have no clue what he brings in donations or whatever. You only know what he tells you. Putting it out there. So feel free to question anything and probably everything when it comes to his contributions that you can't see on screen. Which hence the reason why, he won't automate his contributions and donations and all that bullshit. So there you go.
$100 tip from NDO. Thank you, NDO. Let's get that on the leaderboard.
And I'm starting to think too, being that more and more pedophiles are getting outed in his community, or they're being exposed to being pedophiles in his community, that's probably another reason why he won't do it. Because most of them are saying, hey man, I want to be completely anonymous. I don't want nothing to fall back on me, or whatever. Maybe that's what it was. And maybe that's the reason why he was trying to drive that point to Kino Casino and Josh on why he doesn't want to look into people in his audience, because one, they give him money, and two, they're just as vile, if not worse, than probably Derek is. Makes you think.
Holy crap. Let's see what he has to say, because he put a big message there.
Just flailing his arms everywhere.
So that has propelled us to $138 of support on today's show. Thank you so much, NDO. So NDO says, would you consider building a Lego that's like a Street Fighter build for a goal? For example, here's 2 examples in arcade.
Oh, that's hilarious. And this is what, in June? Yeah, so that never happened. It probably never will happen. So he was still on that Lego grift and whatnot. That's funny. That's until Lex took that from him. Like, she snatched that shit right out of his hooves. Her and her girlfriend did. Strangely, Lex. She stole that shit from him. And then Rich tried to, Review Tech USA tried to jump on that grift, and I don't even know if he even does that shit anymore. That's hilarious, bro. That shit is hilarious how he got that shit snatched from him.
Arcade cabinet and dolls him. Let me look to see if I can find them. Because the reason I say that, I don't actually know. Well, the links don't come through. I should clarify this. Links don't come through via tips. So I can't actually see the links that you sent. But I bet I could find them. Like here, like. If I type in Lego Street Fighter, right, on Amazon, here's the cabinet. He says there's a cabinet and there's a Dalsum. Here it is. It's micro blocks. Yeah, it's a micro blocks Street Fighter cabinet. It looks pretty cool, actually. It's Ryu and Ken fighting on Chun-Li's stage. That's a pretty cool one.
You know, doesn't he have a second PC that he can actually bring this up on, and we're not doing it? Why? Fucking A, bro. I mean, I guess I can't talk. I could have, if you think about it, I have a what's it called? I have a plugin for this shit. I could have probably brought up, well, not I probably could have. I could have brought YouTube up and actually showed you the views themselves. So I guess I'm equally involved in that. Definitely a blunder or a dropped opportunity on my part. But even more reason for me to bring it up on him. It was his fault. He made me do it.
1,060 pieces. It's actually only $27. It's ridiculously cheap. There's also a knockoff Mario one. It looks like a Mario stage. So there's that. I like that one. Now, you'd also said Dalsim. I don't see the Dalsim, but I bet it exists. Probably not on Amazon. It's probably just on the internet somewhere. Let me look.
Wow. Just wow. Imagine that someone who's perpetually lived their life on the internet for over 20 years, like longer than that, but over 20 years, and he can't even do basic shit. That's fucking wild. When you think about this shit, it's fucking wild, man. That's so fucking wild. Shameful. Just shameful.
Rebrickable. Here it is. Rebrickable. There's also, there's actually a few different things you can do. There's one that's a figure of Dalsim. There's one that you can make Dalsim's portrait art from Street Fighter 2 if you buy this certain set, and they have instructions on how to do it. Yeah, like here's the thing, NDO.
And why were you trying to make that sound nefarious? If you buy this certain set, what should it be comboed in with the other figure? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like. And yet again, this is one of the reasons why you can't trust DSP, and in a lot of ways, it's one of the reasons why he shouldn't be trusted, is the fact that he always thinks someone's trying to rip him off, or someone's trying to get over on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about it, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth, so I might as well. His detractors, trolls, haters, and critics are probably the most honest people in his life. I hate to say that because I don't like the fact that I have to... I don't like the fact that, like, giving DSP advice like that, and especially very good advice like that, and he might actually take it. But, take that. But I don't really like saying that. But it's true, though. Like, his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics are probably the most honest people in his life and shit. And yet, he swears to God that everybody's trying to rip him off or get over on him or, you know, fuck up his life, this, that, and the third. And yet, he can do bad on his own. He's proven that day in, day out. No one needs to scam Darksydephil. Darksydephil has laid down the groundwork for himself. You give him enough rope and he'll hang himself. That's the most truest statement I've ever made and whatnot. And it rings true. It still does. That shit's fucking crazy, dude. how one person can hinder or handicap themselves, even though he is handicapped. How someone can handicap themselves the way he does daily. DSP goes out there and is screwing himself over, and I don't know if he's doing it to spite his own face or to spite his own presence or what. Like, it's one of the most like perplexing things about Phil Burnell. Like, everything you do daily hurts you. Why don't you see that? But for him, he's developed this complex that it's easier just to blame everybody else. It's just easier to blame everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. That doesn't change your situation. Sure, you can go, I guess you're giving yourself deniable plausibility, but that doesn't actually fix the problems. And I can't say problem, there's problems. That doesn't actually fix the problems. Like, don't you think he would wake up one day and be like, man, I really want to, fix all this shit? I want to get out of this? You know what I'm saying? Don't you? I would think a normal person who deals with even a minute fucking percentage of what DSP goes through would want to fix it. They'd want it to stop. But he lives for this shit. He thrives on it. Him going around here begging for change, he thrives on that shit. And he feels accomplished when he gets it. In closing, I add this, and then we'll go ahead and keep moving, because I've already been at this for a hot minute as this. Putting like $1 million in Darksydephil's fucking hands or hooves would be like the worst thing you could ever do. He would literally be the proverbial fucking undisciplined child running down the street, hair on fire, fucking butt ass naked and shit, just crazy, just absolute fucking lunatic. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at him when he has damn near next to nothing at his disposal. Just imagine if he had a windfall like that of like $1 million. Like, think about how quickly that would even last. I honestly think he would have that's gone within like 18 months, less than 2 years for sure. That's my vote, if you will. I'll take bets on that, but I'm pretty confident within like 18 months he'd have that spent and have nothing to show for it, which would make it even more hilarious. It's wild, man. It's just wild that you can live, like, you can exist like this. Because it's not living, it's existing. Just makes no fucking sense.
I really liked doing the Legos that I did. Right? It's out of the background now. It was the Lego Piranha Plant that we had all last month. I actually really, really enjoyed doing those Legos. I found those nights chill and relaxing.
Just, you didn't value it enough to keep it on display. Okay, sure. So as soon as the demand and the money for it dried up, let's go ahead and boot that out and see if I can get something else to draw people's attention. Maybe that's the reason why we don't see Kat. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I love Kat. She means everything to me. And over the years, she ain't sat there and got plumped up and shit. And then you only brought her ass out because you tried to get ahead of Mike Klum. Because Mike he had to have had, now that I think about it, he had to have had video, or he had to have pictures of her, meaning them together. I don't mean like that. I don't mean like that. But he must have had some photographs of them that Mike may have taken, or even some videotapes, some B-roll, if you will. And Phil was scared that he was going to drop it. So that's why Phil decided to bring Kat back on stream before Mike could. Which is weird, because Mike would have still made he would have gotten way more views and made far more money. He could drop that stuff today and still make a lot of views and a lot of money. So what would have been the point? What did you actually be? Something about.
And I like how they look in the background, right? We had Minecraft for a month. We had the Piranha Plant for a month. I wouldn't be against doing more Legos. Like I said, I wanted to do the Lego Mario Kart that's out now. It's like $180, but it's Mario like giant on a big cart. And I thought that would have been perfect for this month to have it in the background for Mario Kart World. But people lost interest. They stopped showing up for those streams and stopped supporting them. That last stream of Piranha Plant.
But keep in mind, this idiot's trying to do a Mario Kart World event. And he can't, hear me out on this. This idiot is trying to do a Mario Kart World event. And he can't, and he wanted these ass clowns to basically front load the money so he could do a fucking so he could do a Lego set for it, which he may have not even been able to complete in time because he doesn't know when his Switch is going to even show up. Sunny point number one. He wanted them to front load the money so he could milk them through the assembly of that damn thing for multiple streams, obviously. And he said that it would have made a great theme for that marathon, for those streams, or that stream, I should say. And yet, he didn't just think, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and buy it and then just go ahead and milk them through the assembly of it anyway. He wanted to get paid to buy it. He wanted to get paid to put it together. And then he wanted even more money once he did the marathon. He got greedy. Well, he's been greedy, but he got way too fucking greedy and no one was receptive to it. He should have just bought the damn thing. He should have just bought the damn thing. Amazing. Oh man, and this is your mature adult with a business degree. Fucking wild, bruh. Could have easily have just skipped step 1. And he probably would have still profited on step 2 and 3 to help build up for this big ass event or marathon or whatever the fuck. Fucking mongoloid.
We didn't hit the goal, and I was like, I guess people are saying they're bored of it. Now I'm thinking maybe it was because I was doing it too often. So maybe we give it a break. We didn't do one last month. Maybe we give it a break. Maybe we bring it back in the summer. And then we could do a different one and maybe people would like it again, right? Because I think what's happening is
we're not going to do that now, being that Mario Kart World is completely off the list. So yet again, another missed opportunity because he's too stupid and greedy.
I'm doing things too often. And when you do something too often, it's not special anymore. So give it a break and then go back to it later in the year. It might work again, right?
Why does everything have to be special? That's okay. Oh man, it's amazing how that word is how it resonates with him. That says a lot, I think, but I'm just an asshole on the internet, so you know what I'm saying? How much value or weight does that really hold? Holy shit. It's not special. Don't worry, Phil. I think you're special enough for both.
So there you go. Maybe we will. I think it's a good idea. I would like to do it. Right now, sadly, I wouldn't have time to do it now anyway. With the incredible amount of games I'm juggling and the new stuff coming out in June, it wouldn't work for now, but maybe over the summer.
So you were going to bleed them anyway and then try to finesse them, say, hey, I bought it, but we can't do it right now because the marathon's right around the corner. I have all these new games that I have to work out. We're never going to get it done in time. So he literally was going to finesse these people. And he got mad or got deterred or despondent. He's upset. Let's say that. He's upset that he couldn't get them to buy in, even though he wasn't planning on doing what he was supposed to do anyway. He was going to buy the set, dangle it in front of their fucking faces because they basically paid for it, and then did not even have it ready for the marathon. He was never even going to attempt it. He was going to wait until the summer to do it, not realizing that he had rage quit. Actually, it's probably one of the few games he did both. He rage quit and wage quit fucking Mario Kart World. less than 2 months. Holy shit. Internet got him down bad, that bad. That's wild, son.
We'll see. That's a good suggestion.
Wild.
In fact, anyone who's watching this now, on demand or live, remind me, maybe come July, remind me, hey, maybe we want to start doing Lego nights again. I'd be down for that. Maybe do one of these Street Fighter Lego builds would be pretty cool. Okay? Cool.
And I was going to say, being that he is dead set on playing CVS2, big ups to Raw Phil and big ups to Diggs, by the way. Since he is dead set in his little CVS2 era, that he should do it, but Lego streams are dead now, so it don't even matter. It doesn't even have any value like that anymore. That's wild, man. When you really think about that shit in hindsight, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Holy shit. Anyway, wasted opportunity. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, hey, what do you take from all that? What do we take from all this? This is how you don't play. Yet again, has given him PTSD, and he's developed a complex about it. And even when he seems to try to or want to take responsibility for it, he can't because his ego and whatnot. Honestly, I think you're seeing the building blocks on him wanting to sue. I think you're seeing a lot of it, like a lot of the early steps of him forming the idea to sue is right here. It's all here in real time, so to speak. So that was actually kind of interesting and unexpected. The failure of that marathon was hilarious. And yet again, all the people who actually did benefit from him playing poorly in Mario Kart World, and he didn't see a percentage of what some of those people got in views. You know what I'm saying? Like most of those people were in the tens of thousands, if not in the hundreds of thousands. He didn't see an iota of any of that shit, which is wild. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you put all 20 of those videos together, he may have had like 40,000 views, 30 to 40,000 views, maybe. And that still doesn't matter because the majority of people who still make content on him still beat him by leaps and bounds. Crazy, bro. It's absolutely fucking crazy. That shit shit makes you think. That shit makes you think. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. I'll catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be, hopefully sooner than later. He's still, I think the reason why he can't let go This Is How You Don't Play is because he's still living it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you may think of current This Is How You Don't Play is on, whether, you know, they're as prominent as they were back in the day or so on and so forth, that doesn't even matter. They still endure. They still exist. And they still get a lot of views. They still get a lot of attention. And DSP himself has progressively and consistently gotten worse over the years. And he's willing to tank. This is, if you really think about it, him trying to tank This Is How You Don't Play by tanking his own playthrough is probably the largest gamble he's ever made. And here's the thing that he's not thinking about. When people are done coming to him for the games that he's already playing poorly anyway, like, I mean, when they stop completely, then what is he going to do? What options will he really have? We already saw DSP politics, we saw the React shit, we saw all that. Lame, dumb, and he wasn't really committed anyway, so it is what it was. So once gaming, for him, dies out, what is he really going to do? What options does he really have on the table? And now he can't even do interviews and collab because nobody trusts him. So not even that's on the table. And he can't get himself back into the FGC because no one takes him seriously and no one trusts him. Let alone no one likes him. If you look at it from that perspective, there is nothing else but I will shudder to say this. But there is nothing else but he's gonna have to work with a detractor. When I mean work with a detractor, let me be very clear about this. He's gonna have to get into a discussion or a debate publicly with a detractor. That's kind of it. You know what I'm saying? Well, not true. He could, that's probably like the last fucking resort. Like, it's really getting into lolcow content. And the easiest road to do that is lolcow live. And even then, given what happened with Kino Casino, which Keemstar has admitted that he watched rather closely, you can't even trust him on that front. Wow. Something to think about. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. I'll catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be, hopefully sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Snort Report. This has been DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, GTG Network of Productions. For the Snort Report, for Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, for Tim Snortons, for all of our subsidiaries and affiliates. I've been your host / anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. Holy fuck, bro. Been a long day. Take care of those people. Later.